Welcome all to my first NFL Pub Hub live stream of the year. What a fucking start. Jesus. 9-2 plus 6.8 units. Coming off a 1-0 Thursday, so 10-2 on the week. Coming off a 12-2 preseason. All of a sudden, I'm sitting here in front of you, 22-4 plus 17.7 units. And rent is paid. Jesus, it feels good. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. We have a huge game here. I'm on the under 51, but I'm ready to bet live. Shout out to all you guys. Sammy Comer, Dave Beckett, G. Martinez. The Rocks are 82. Top Set, Ron Lofton, MDR 24. Viral Video, Mr. Wonderful, J Dub, Stella Girl, Prince of the City, Saturated, G. Martinez, Scotty Boy, Drink in Hand. Oh, good God. Just can't stop the glory train. I don't know what to say. I almost don't want to talk about it, but I already have. Maybe I should stop talking about it. You know what I should do? Thank you for Jonathan Yim saying nice hat. Everything cashed in that game. Triple up. Ravens -7. Cash. Jets team total under 17.5. A walk. Full game under 44.5, pointing and laughing at the screen. Cash. God, it feels good. There's our guy, Clint, starting Die Hard MMA podcast. He's going to be making an appearance come halftime. But let's bring on your first guest of the show. He was our winner in last year's NFL Pub Hub, and he was the first guy I wanted to share the screen with on my first live NFL Betcast of the year. Please welcome from Ocala, Florida, the legend, the Big Ragu. What up, my man?
Jimmy, let me reach my hand through the screen and touch you, get some of that fire. Ooh. Let me get energized with it, man. Unbelievable start for you, my brother. So proud of you, man. That's how you start off the NFL, guys. That's how you do it. I can't say I was as successful, but the year is young. The day is young. We still got plenty of money in the bank. We got units to push. We got buttons to smash. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Good to see you, man. Keep up that fire, brother. And shout out to the friggin' chat for our first show. Congratulations.
Ooh, good God. Thank you. Yeah, it's just so San Francisco, Chicago under 41.5 cash. Steelers team total over 17.5 cash. Patriots team total under 20.5 cash. Baltimore, New York Jets, as I said, under 44.5 cash. A loser in Indiana, Houston, first half over 23. Houston was providing, but not Indiana. New York Giants, Tennessee Titans under 43.5 cash. Cardinals +6 was a horrible loser. And then Ravens -7 cash. Jets team total under 17.5 cash. Dolphins -3 cash. Giants +5.5 cashed. Cash, and cash. Jesus. Harold Williams in the house. Saturated said this calls for a shoey. I don't have beer. I only have hard bar, but I'll get some beer for tomorrow if we keep cashing. Tonight I'm on the under 51. Tampa Bay Dallas under 51 at -110, but I'm looking to get in live as well. Big Ragu, what are you doing here in this game?
I started out with the under the first half. Like I said on the show earlier, I didn't get to the window with it, but I did after I got off the show. I didn't give it as a show pick, but I'll give it on a live show tonight. I'm on the first half under. I think both teams will start off a little bit slow. I mean, it's either one extreme or the other. The way today has been going, they're really dead unders or they're flat overs. So I think this is going to start off a little slow for both squads. I think Dallas is going to try to get the old school Dallas involved with Ezekiel and try to take some of the pressure off a healthy Dak, and then work that offensive line. And same thing with Brady. Brady's not going to have the luxuries Dak is. So, but Brady hasn't been around a bit. I mean, look what happened with Burrow today. He didn't touch a ball. He epidemic. I mean, he had a rough day. He still almost won the game, but I think we see a little slow start from Tom and company. Keep the points off the board. Defense will show up, but Tom, he's going to have to work his way up a little bit.
I'm hoping for an early score. I want to get in live, attack it live, so I'm hoping for an early score. We're 6 minutes away. Nasty said, Jimmy, you a 20,000 subscriber shoey that the guys did last night. Yes, I do. I will get beer. I will get beer, and I'm here tomorrow night for Broncos Seahawks. It's going to be fun. Dutch Boy Fresh, huge Broncos fan. He'll be joining our stream. Dave Beckett says, this is for your bookie because he's broke now. Love you, Jim. Thank you, Dave. Well, I won't give him a cent of it. I'll make sure that he doesn't get a cent of this. Thank you, Dave. It's exciting. It's a really exciting way to start off the year. I just can't even. I don't even know what to say. I don't want to talk about it too much because I know all good things do come to an end at some point. Let's bring on your next guest. We all come from his womb, and here he is on my first live NFL bet stream of the year. Please welcome to the show, Pistol Pete Loshak.
Hey there, Jimmy. Big Ragu. How you doing, pal?
All right, buddy.
No, Big Ragu. I would just like to take 3 seconds out right now to say, Big Ragu, your fucking handicapping has helped me out so much, specifically over the past few weeks, but also over the past 6 months in general. Big Ragu, I seek out your shows and I listen to every word you say, and I make notes on my documents when you say things that strike me as valuable. Big Ragu, shout out to you.
Hey, I take that, wholeheartedly. I appreciate that, man. Heartfelt thanks to you, man, because I've always looked up for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
These years, and you and Jimmy both, the reason I got involved, with getting involved in the chat. Now I'm on screen with you. It's been a ride and a half. It really has, and I really enjoy. I finally get to be on screen.
Hell yeah.
I missed that Vegas trip though. That was in and of course I got the red, white, and blue New York hat on. Normally I'd be wearing the Yankees, but we have to give our condolences and remembrances for all the stuff that happened on 9/11 21 years ago today. So, and I know you're a fellow New Yorker too. So
I was on the N train when all that happened actually. So coming in from Bay Ridge, yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah, I also don't like speaking generalities. The BYU first half against South Florida, huge play on that one, purely because of you. Shout out to you, Big Ragu.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I love it. Love having you guys here together, rolling with us. We're about 3 minutes from kickoff. I'm going to make sure that I got my live bet account here ready to go. So for Ragu and Pete, we have a stream that Big Show is being kind enough to set up for us. That's in the private chat.
Yeah, I got it.
Go over to that private chat. I don't know why mine's not coming up. I think it's going to take a second here.
Now, my question is this. If we click that on, is the audio going to pop on with that thing?
That is a good question. That's a good question. Something that we should figure out immediately.
I'll let somebody else do it.
I'm having some tech difficulties. That's why we started late, and thank you guys for your patience there.
It's the first show, man.
I'm going to let you guys jump on that stream. I can't.
All right, Pete, you go for it, bud.
You want me to jump on?
Jump on. So at least you're going on the same time. We'll see. Well, and I can pause my stream to see if we need to keep everything right. There's Rocco Rogers there. Big Daddy Boom. C-Mac Schultz over 5.5 -108 can get 4.5 around -160. So C-Mac looking at Schultz here. Pete, talk about this spot. You moved slightly on the Buccaneers, and you're with me on the under. Big Ragu's on the first half under. Is there anything you're looking at for a live bet?
No, not really for a live bet. I mean, I don't do too much live betting in general. I definitely do second halves. I had a good day today. Kind of a big loser with Cincinnati full game, but I was all over them second half, and cashed with that. I really want Tampa Bay to cover tonight, because if they do, I'll get a nice little free play. Caesars had a promotion, and I'm one ATS win away from winning that. So now there's more at stake for me for Tampa Bay. So I'm hoping Tampa. I also have a little bet on it as well. But no, second half I might have a halftime play. Live betting, I think it's very fun and interesting, and I'm sure there's people who absolutely kill it. Me personally, I don't do too much of it.
Wow, this total is now at 49.5.
Yeah.
49.5. We got in at 51 if you're watching the Tuesday show. Pete, this is the greatest start of my life.
Really?
22-4.
Can
you believe that shit? 22-4 plus 17.7 units.
Hey, Jimmy. So I think I kind of got not the full reason why you're 22-4, but kind of like an abbreviated reason. Okay, so when I was on your show earlier today, you said you were what was your record in preseason?
12-2.
Okay, and your record today is 9-2?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Wow. Congratulations to week 4 of the preseason.
Oh man.
I think one thing that you guys may have noticed, I said, I was like, I'm not going to bet Saturday college football. I'm off to a great start. I'm 10-3 in college football because I've got guys like Big Ragu who are my guests. So we break down the games together. And then I was like, why don't I just put all my energy into Sunday? I've worked all, and I've just got the Pub Hub in the morning and then the live bet stream at night. I was like, why I'm seeing what's working. And what's working is reading the market. The sharps dominated today. I'm sure you guys noticed. We talked about all the sharp money on the Bears, all the sharp money on the Texans, all the sharp money on the Giants. That was cash right there. All the sharp money on the Falcons, that cash. The sharps were fucking eating.
I was on all of those today, Jim. All of them.
Oh, I just one of the things we talk about on our show is that we're just going to keep getting better and better and better because we're working together and we're learning together, and we have guys like Loshak and Ragu where we can just soak up their experience in the gambling world, and it's happening. It's happening right now. Cheshire Cat laughing with Ravens -6.5. That was just the easiest. That was as easy as I can't. And how many people got eliminated from survivor pools with the Bengals losing and the Colts?
Right here, baby. Right here, baby. Oh, man. No, not the Colts. I'm not that stupid, but I am pretty stupid. And the Bengals. I learned my lesson because you want to just very quickly. A few years ago, I was doing really well in a survivor contest, and one week I forgot to make a pick like late in the season, and so I lost that way. And ever since then, I've been eliminated in the first week every year. Remember that year when the Jags won one game and it was week 1 against the Colts? I had the Colts in my survivor pool. Today I had the Bengals. What can I tell you? I didn't even lose money on the Bengals game because I had them bigger second half than full game. But
I added the Dolphins and Giants after our NFL Pub Up, but in our Cappers contest, I had the Eagles, and I lost with the Cardinals. So I'm 2-2, and I have the Bucks -2.5, and I haven't even bet the Bucks -2.5. So not the best work in the Cappers contest. How are you? By the way, you guys, for our Pub Sports Radio Circa Millions, we cashed on the Ravens, lost on the Eagles, cashed with the Vikings, cashed with the Steelers. So we're 3-1. And all we have left is the Broncos. So
your goal there, you want to go 3-2 at the bare minimum.
You guys all had the Steelers, huh? Nice job.
1-4, but you catch some 5-0s, 4-1s, they kind of balance it out. But you're gonna have to hit like high 60s in that contest. You're gonna be really, really sharp.
In all honesty, I don't care. I'm not like, I just want to have fun. And the only way to have fun with us doing that kind of is to get off to a good start. That's all I care about, really. Slaughter was good enough to put in our entry fee. So that was our audience. So Pete, it's Thursdays with Jose and we do polls to see which games we're going to go with. And that was our 5th pick. Steelers had 70%. Steelers +6.5. 70% of the cappers in the chat picked that one. But let's talk about this one here. We have we're ready for kickoff here. Turpin back to return, and there's my guy Nilo in the house. Derek Miller says Cowgirls banged up on receiver. Then they got Mr. Feed Me Elliott not to get 50 yards on Tampa Bay's defense. We'll see if Tampa Bay's rush defense is as strong as we've seen it be. Here we go. Turpin is going to return this. Johnny K. Let me get that up for you guys. I'll let you guys know everything here. We'll do sports insights and see what's happening.
If I click on this link, will it take me out of this video?
That's a good question. Why don't you ask Ragu that in the it's open. Ask Big Show that. Big Show can let us know is he still here? I think.
All right, I'm going to try that. I might mess up my thing here, but I'll join you if I get messed up.
All right. Okay, we are first down here, and there's a little dink and dunk. Little dink and dunk. Is that Schultz? Is that the C-Mac on the board with one Schultz reception right off the top? Who was that? We get Schultz in there. I'm just going to pull up the situation here with the cash flow in this game. Move over here. In this one, it's with 217,000 tickets in. 52% of tickets, 56% of cash on the Buccaneers. It's the under that got smoked, lit up and smoked. 45% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on that under. Here we go. And, it looks like... fuck, man. Is he going to have a day today? Levante, you got to be on that shit. We got Zeke. Tom Leach is on the Texans +7, Giants +5.5. Double up was especially sweet. Nice job. Nice job. All right. Here we go. So we're going to be looking at the live total and the live spread as we go here. Get him! Hurt him! Oh, man, that was a terrible first down call. And there's Native Queen, Pistol Pete Loshak.
Oh, shout out to Native Queen. Shout out to Native Queen.
That is sweet. What a treat.
That's been a blast from the past.
Yeah. Oh, that is just a treat. That was a horrific play there on first down, but it wasn't as bad as I thought they were going to be back 15 yards. Now 2nd and 18 here for the Cowboys. Here we go. Carlos Diaz says Bucks -2.5 to play right. I think it's the play. Ooh, but that was a big spot. Now they're going to be 3rd and 10. Johnny K says Tampa going to roll. I'm curious, Ragu, what are your expectations here of Tom Brady in this game?
I think Tom Brady will have a decent game. I know some guys are betting a prop on interceptions for Brady, but Brady's not one that I usually bet against. So I usually pass or find other ways to play games. I don't like to. Brady's taken some money from me in some crazy kind of ways over the years, and I've made more money back in them than betting against him. But I think his performance-wise today, I think he'll probably have a Brady-like performance. I'm not going to say like a 350-yard game. Probably, maybe low twos. Maybe, throw the ball about 40-something times. Have decent fantasy numbers if you're going to use Brady because he's going to sling the ball around. I think they'll probably pass percentage. I'd probably say he'd be passing probably like 65%. I say 2 out of every 3 plays is going to be a pass play for Brady. But I think he'll have a decent game. I think he'll maybe turn over the ball once, and I think Dak will also do the same thing. So the line's right where it needs to be in my book. Dallas is on a rebound. Brady's coming to play. Bucks are in decent shape on defense. So I think that's why I like the under. I think the under is going to be my main play today. The first half and full game, by the way.
I would like to get in on that action. C-Mac in the house. He's on Fournette props. Von Polo said 49 is the only team that messed me up. God, I just clearly the difference in my capping over the last little while is really focusing on where the sharp money is. And unless I've got an angle that I truly, truly believe in, that would generally be a psychological angle because it wouldn't be a numbers angle because that's, where the syndicates and the sharps are. I mean, the sharps just cleaned up today. And knowing what they're on, I mean, I have one of my dad's friends has reached out to me and he's, wanting to get more involved and he, he has no idea what I'm talking about. When I talk about, he's like, doesn't know what I'm talking about. And once he understands it, it'll take him a couple weeks to understand it. It just helps so much. It helps so much. This is
Pete. How'd you do with your link?
I'm not really. I'm not really getting anything. I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm still.
Same thing here.
You're not getting anything.
Yeah, I got mine had the same result yours did.
Okay, well, we got Jose backstage. He's going to try to help us out here.
I mean, I rarely watch. If I'm watching a game, it's like a party. It's not like I monitor games statistically, but I rarely actually watch them. You know what I mean?
That's an important point, Pete, that I would love to talk about. We're going to talk about it right after this 1st and 10. Cowboys have the ball at the 43. Dak moving back and a nice defensive
Who was limping
play.
off the field?
That was – let me move over. It was 66. I got to pull it up here. And perfect rotation, the Sharps absolutely destroyed week 1. They absolutely crushed. Pete, when we first started working together, that was the first thing that struck me. And what struck me was I immediately thought, what an enormous advantage you have not dealing with the same biases that I have.
Yeah, absolutely. And biases are things that you can overcome, or you can just like push them out of your field of view. Bam, problem solved. I definitely felt that like the one caveat I would say there would be like college basketball. There were times when watching college basketball, I definitely got a sense of what was going on better than what I would get from monitoring things statistically at times, for second half plays. But yeah, in general, I just like, developed this way of like processing everything over the years that worked, and watching things live was fun, but sort of took away from it. Now, obviously, there's many ways to skin a cat, and I'm sure that some people watching games have a huge advantage that way, and it's definitely true. But that's not what I do.
Yeah, I found it so fascinating when we first started working together, and then I thought that gave you a big advantage personally, because there's so many teams that I dislike, and so I've got so many vividness biases, and players I dislike, and it haunts me. And then another thing I thought helped you was that you don't get into the future market. In NHL, I have so many futures every year that it just messes with me when it comes down to playoff time, because I'm thinking about my future bets and I don't want to compound losses, and I start cheering because I've got a certain bet and it goes against how I see a game will play out.
Yeah, I don't bet futures, but I definitely look at them and think about them and listen to what other people have to say about them. Definitely for NFL, I did that. But yeah, for sure in sports and all sports, knowing when you've estimated something incorrectly and then turning on a dime, either a little bit or in some cases 180 degrees is very important. And yeah, if you actually have a futures bet down on something, that can be a lot harder to make an adjustment on mentally in your brain. You know what I mean?
Totally.
You don't want it to sway your future. Just because you have a future, things change along the way. So you just can't. You always have to make the adjustments, especially game by game scenarios. But future bets that's what they are. They're future bets, and just got to make believe. Put them in your pocket and forget about them.
So I don't make any futures bets, but I look at them, I think about them, and in fact, in certain sports, in college sports, and in the NFL, but much more so in college sports, I have them the whole year long in the back of my mind, because the preseason rankings are often very significant going deep into the season, and so it's not that I ignore them completely. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I have the college game. I would look at like it has certain games that are lined up, like they call them the games of the year, and then you can see like what the spreads were, like 4 weeks back or 3 weeks ago, and then if those games are current or they're coming up, then you can see how good the odds makers were with their numbers and what your capping works out. And sometimes I'll use that to kind of gauge it, where teams are on power ratings and stuff like that, and then just. And the futures, I play very limited amount of futures. The only time I usually play futures is on a cash basis. Like if I take a Vegas trip or something, and I know I'm going back out there, I want to cash a ticket. I want the cash in my hand. You know what I mean? I don't want to worry about getting paid, in a different way. But for the most part, with those futures bets, they're very limited, and I don't use them the same way you do, but I use them for more entertainment and try to cash out for a decent score later on in the series or later on in the year. So, but as far as handicapping goes, I never thought about it that way. I mean, you always look at the teams, especially you're looking at baseball, like teams that have the fast starts, and then you says, man, we kind of missed the boat on that, and then they kind of come back to the middle, and the teams that were struggling early, they're making their late playoff runs, and then it all makes sense when you look at it.
Yeah, my keeping preseason rankings in mind for me has something I do a lot more with college sports and pro sports for sure. But like I have a spreadsheet right now with all of the NFL and college win totals and futures odds, day before kickoff of game one, and I just always have that in case I want to refer back to it or remind myself, what their preseason ranking was.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing your guys' ideology.
And there's other people who do that way more effectively than I do, like Ed Fang in particular. You know Ed Fang, right? He has a lot to say about that kind of thing, and he does it way more effective. I just have a spreadsheet where I remind myself every now and then if I want to, but he actually employs it in his season-long week-by-week rankings, power rankings.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah, it works for him. Yeah, it works for me too.
Danny Lopez did mention in the chat his friend's dad had 100,000 on Pittsburgh +7. Says, wish I had the balls and laid into it harder. Damn bankroll management. Yeah, I don't know what kind of edge I would need to have to make a bet that big, or how rich I'd have to be, or whatever. But don't let that ever mess with you. We this is a grind. And it's about proving success over a long period of time. And once you do that, you can start really trusting to invest money into it.
Can I quick shout out?
Yeah,
Sky Dragon with his read on Washington, week 1 on friggin' real. It took me off of the Jags in the contest. And I had already made my bet for the Caesars promotion, so you're not allowed to bet both sides. So I had to ride with them there. But I thought the Jags were like one of the best play early in the week. I thought they were one of the best plays of the week. But then when I saw Sky Dragon's comment, loving Washington, I forgot what he said. This game, next game, futures odds. I was like, oh my God! And I thought 5 times about my analysis of that game. Shout out to Sky Dragon.
Even though the Eagles screwed me on my play, I told Jimmy, I think first time ever I'm playing fantasy. We got a family fantasy league, and I think Jalen Hurts didn't do too bad. I had Brown showed out pretty good for fantasy numbers. And how about our guy Saquon Barkley, man? He had a game today too, so that was interesting.
Can I ask Sky Dragon a specific question about Washington, Jimmy the Bag?
Of course.
But okay, Sky Dragon, awesome call this week. But in general, Carson Wentz still sucks complete ass, right? If you disagree with that, please comment and let me know why. Thank you very much, Sky Dragon. Does Carson? I don't know football. Does Carson Wentz not totally suck ass and is probably going to be a fade going forward?
Who's on deck for Carson in Washington?
Let's pull up what game's next for him. Overtime, what's happening? Great to see you. Oh, this is going to be just a walk in the park. I almost want the. I almost got. This is working out. The way this game is set up, it's perfect for our under and perfect for the Bucs. And I was kind of hoping it'd be the other way around.
3-0.
Yeah, it was a 4-minute drive for the Cowboys. Put up 3 points. I'm very interested in this Cowboys defense and see how they hold up.
Stella Girl says Wentz is serviceable. I have him in my head as one of those guys who's like, yes, serviceable, but just finds a way to fuck things up, especially when it matters. And so, like, as a favorite, or I don't know. Yeah, maybe my read on him is wrong. I don't know.
I've been using that word a lot lately too, serviceable, but what the fuck does it really mean?
It means that you're not going to excel, but you'll get the job done, and you're not just going to be like completely shitting the bed. That's what serviceable means in 2022.
Yeah,
it means you will neither excel nor shit the bed. There's basically 3 ways a player can be: shit the bed, serviceable, or awesome.
Gotcha. It's right there in the middle.
Oh, there it is. Tom Brady. Throwing lasers early. The Bucs are going to take care of business.
They thought he was doing the Masked Singer. That's why he didn't show up for preseason.
Well, the total's now at 50.5, the live total. There's Okie in the house. Great to see you.
So next week, Washington is at Detroit.
Oh, wow. Let's talk about that spot. But here's Sky Dragon's answer. 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, fourth quarter down 8. He put together 2 drives to win the game. Everyone thinks Wentz sucks. I think he's average. Let's put it this way. I think he's better than Matt Ryan, and Indy will soon too.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah.
I was shocked that Reich made the decision to go to focus his offense around Matt Ryan instead. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Oh, Heineke. Yeah, he's the backup. Sam Howell, third quarterback.
This Cowboys defense not looking good early.
Yeah, the Cowboys defense. Again, I'm on the under this year. I mean, in this game, but in general, I think that the Cowboys defense will take a significant step back from last year. Last year, statistically, they were very good, but a lot of those stats are not necessarily repeatable. A lot of fluky stuff, a lot of like pick sixes and stuff like that. I think that Dallas's defense, in retrospect, people will think it is a lot less good than they were expecting. I'm vaguely down on Dallas's defense.
Well, this is shaping up here. Shaping up for 4th and 3 for the Cowboys. Going to bring out the field goal unit.
I guess I just feel like Wentz kind of didn't really succeed in Indy with a better situation, now he's got like a worse O-line and just a worse situation in general. And so I don't know, like not a well-run team, a worse O-line. So is Wentz going to is that going to bring out the best in Wentz, or is he just going to fuck up more? I don't know. I had the Jags today. I was one of my 4 losers, and Sky Dragon nailed it.
Yeah, when Wentz tries to do too much, that's when disaster hits for him mostly. That's for anybody in particular, but especially him.
He just seemed like the kind of guy who, in important situations, a lot of times couldn't really make the right decisions,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm friggin' wrong.
Dallas number 8.
Personally, I felt like the move on Washington, which I didn't have the balls to make, but it was Washington, no bet, was that the Jags have never proven that they can win on the road. They go 0-8 on the road last year. I mean, why would we think just because Doug Peterson's there that would change, even if they're stronger this year than they are last year? And sure, they'll win a road game at some point this year. But I just could not believe that they would have taken the money that they took. And they took a huge amount of money, and it looked like sharp money, went from 4 to 2.5.
Yeah.
But I just stayed off of it completely. The total is still at 49.5. The Bucks are minus 1.5.
Yeah, I think the full game under still looks good.
Oh, definitely. Very much so. But I'm just talking about, I would like to get into some live action here. Sky Dragon, our guy Dennis Garcia says, last year Wentz went 27 TDs, 7 interceptions. Quarterback always gets the blame when the team doesn't do well. I thought he thinks he was fine last year. Coin just moved on the under 49.5. Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Okay.
All right, we have a 3-3 game. A money line right now, Bucks minus 125, Dallas even money. It picks from Dave says all over the Commanders today. Wentz tried to give it away, and the Jags still lost. And then Sky Dragon says everyone remembers the interception end of the game against Tennessee. Take vividness bias out of your head. His numbers were fine. Ron Lofton also moving on that under 49.5 live.
Yeah. It's juiced a little bit, as usual. Most live bets are.
All right. Damon Santos
like Pete says, there's no juice if you win, right, Pete?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No juice if you win. Oh, yeah. Perfect Rotation says this was a revenge game for Wentz, though. All he had to do last season was beat the Giants, get in the playoffs, and he blew it. I've never seen a week one with so many hidden narratives. Yes. Yeah. I kind of ignored that, but yeah. Great point from Perfect Rotation.
All right. Okay, let's see what the Cowboys do on drive number 2. I thought Zeke looked very good. Zeke looked full of Vim and Vinegar. Harold Williams says definitely an under. I think so far. Drinking Hand says alternative bets. That's where the cash is. Dabby Cab and now says kept my volume so low week 1, but 2-0 is cool with me. Yeah, 2-0 is a nice start. Prince of the City saying Elliott running hard. Yeah, I think a lot of people question whether Elliott was even the best quarterback on the Cowboys last year. So he better be firing here, and he is so far.
Man, that Philly-Detroit game, what do we think about that? I'll tell you, I was on Detroit early. Then the move to 6 blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Then in this Caesars contest, I had to pick every game against the spread at the time, right? So right now I'm looking at 9-4. You have to win 10 spreads. And early in the week, the Lions were one of my kind of obvious no-brainer plays that I was going to bet. The move to 6 had me scratching my head. So in the contest, I took the Eagles, and for most of the game, I was like, wow, okay, that line moved right. And so maybe I don't know what I didn't watch the game. I haven't analyzed statistically yet, but in retrospect, you think that the Lions were the right side ultimately, or was it a backdoor?
I was jumping around from game to game, and I was the same as you. I didn't bet the Eagles, but I took them in the Cappers contest. The 3.5 to 6 blew my mind as well, and I felt, well, God, if I'm getting 2 points of value, how do I not take them? And then I sat back going, well, it was the right call. And then Philly's defense breaks down late.
Yeah, I don't think Philly's defense was as sharp as we thought it was. I mean, I watched a little bit of it early. They looked a little shaky early on. And then, I said, okay, maybe it's just some adjustments. Then the second half came. I said, okay, we're good. And then I got away from it. And then I started seeing the scores flashing across the screen. I said, holy shit. So I don't know what happened from the middle part of the third on. I really don't.
Oh, geez. Sorry, I missed that. There was almost a pick there from the Buccos. Wow, that was a missed opportunity there. I think they know it, but I think they're going to get more. I think I should get in on the Bucs here. It's probably too late now. What are they? Obviously, that dropped. Now minus 165. Now minus 3.5. Yeah.
The Eagles are tough. I still don't have a good feel on them at all. It seems like it's all about Hurts, which is big unknown, and then the O-line, which is like good or great, but also maybe like old and injury.
So the O-line is supposed to be pretty good.
Right, but maybe a little bit old and injury prone. Yeah. I mean, the rest of the team, yeah, good wide receiving core, probably top 10 wide receiving core. All about Hurts is a big unknown. Market obviously super hot on them. And that kind of a move could only come from like a big, sharp outfit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It was funny because I was telling Jim, I gave 3 plays on the show. I gave Philly, New Orleans, and Kansas City. I said it's kind of chalky, and then we go back in retrospect. You look and you see how many dogs came in, and I'm on all favorites. You know what I mean? But the later action game, I had the Kansas City. That was never a game there for Arizona. They never got in the game. But the other ones, at one point in time, like you said, Philly was up big. New Orleans, they struggled the whole game, basically. They stole that game late. They stole it. Like Houston, they couldn't close out Indy. They should have closed out. They deserved to win that game, too.
Dabby Cab wondering if you're off the nutmeg tonight, Pete.
Nah, not really. I mean, I put a little on some chicken earlier, but not really. That's sort of like a treat. I was working hard all weekend. Very intense weekend.
Nutmeg. What's the story on the nutmeg?
If you do it right, it can fuck you up.
Oh yeah.
Malcolm X did nutmeg in prison in the autobiography of Malcolm X. You get fucked up on nutmeg.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This, when you're studying, looking back at your notes and things like that, we think that the Cowboys' interior defense is going to be weaker, but their secondary is stronger than it's ever been. this was just, and then the Cowboys injuries, a wide receiver. This was just screaming under. And God, at what point do you start? If you're seeing things clearly, at what point do you start betting more than a unit on games? I don't know. I don't need to worry about that. But this was just, and we'll see what happens. I mean, if it was, the total's still at 48.5. I mean, I find that shocking. It was like when we were doing the Louisville game, and that Louisville was still plus 6.5 so late, and you're like, how could this total live be 48.5? What am I missing? How could the Buccaneers be minus 2.5 still right now? What am I missing?
I don't know. I can't even watch the game. Let me look at it statistically. Let's see where we are. I've been looking at. Let me see.
See, I'm like Pete. Like I'll bet halves. Like first half, second halves, ebbs and flow of the game. Like I got thrown for a loop with the Rams the other night because when they had the 3 turnovers for Buffalo, I figured, okay, they look good going into the second quarter. I might have mentioned this if I'm repeating myself, but that's the kind of when I'm looking at halves, I want to make sure I'm watching the first half. You know what I mean? Before I make a bet in the second half, obviously for the halftime bet. But the live stuff, you can jump in and out. Do that pretty auspiciously. But when you're messing with halves, you got to be focused in completely on the complete first half because there's always adjustments and you got to see how the teams are playing. What the schemes are, and then knowing the coaches and their styles too. Go back in and you cap this. You got about 15 minutes to cap it, throw it down. And I was dead wrong with that because I took the Rams. I didn't bet the game to start. I took the Rams in the second half and got clobbered.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this, you took the Rams the second half?
Yeah.
Wow. I was on the Bills and then doubled down.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, just looking at how this game is going. I mean, Brady. My main concern is just like Brady. Like would whatever he's taking would wear off. Right now, it looks like he's fine, right? I mean, I'm not watching the game, but I'm looking at it statistically. Everything looks fine, right?
The Bucks are now minus 5.5. This total is 50.5.
Yeah, so they're driving.
Yeah, I would like a Bucks live. Again, I mean, once in a while I'll bet live for various reasons. And I would even do it for fun on a live stream or something, but I just don't feel like I have an edge right now. But yeah, as of right now, everything looks like it's roughly going according to plan. At some point, the Dallas defense will limitations, I think, will start to matter. The Bucks defense will strength will start to matter, and then Tampa Bay should pull away by a few points. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to a live bet on Tampa Bay right now. Although it's 5.5, you said.
It dropped to 4.5. Let's see what it is right now. It is down to 3.5. So they're 2nd and 10 right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Nasty Nate took Bucks first half live minus 3.
I mean, another question is just, what kind of juice you're getting, Most of the books that I see have 30-cent lines, right?
No, that's changed. That was the case at first, but not anymore.
What are you seeing now?
Right now.
No, I mean in terms of your juice.
Just 20 cent lines.
Oh, really? Where?
Bet365.
Okay, right.
But Bet365 had 40-cent lines on player props at first.
Right.
They've gone back to 20-cent lines. Made so much fucking money. Kobe's Corner. Look at that, Pete. You brought out some of our old friends. Kobe Valentine in the house.
Oh shit! Let me get there. There you go. Shout out to you, Kobe Valentine. There you go, Pete, Jimmy. What's good, boys? Well, week 1 is good. I'll tell you that, Kobe. Hope you had a great first week in NFL because we all definitely did. Things are going well. Of course, NFL. What do they say? Not for long. Could turn into dime.
Yeah. That's the acronym.
But I think, as long as you're cautious, do your hard work, and you don't think that plays win just because you clicked on it. You did your work and then clicked on it, and that's why they won. There you go. He had Detroit Philly over. Yes, Kobe, I had that one too. I also had that one, and I started to get nervous about it. I also had the first quarter over, which lost, but the first half over, which cashed. Yes. Awesome. Awesome call, Kobe. Yes, I had that one as well. I mean, the Eagles offense until and unless it breaks down from injury should be nice. I mean, Hurts looks like he's going to be fine. Wide receiving core is excellent. So they're going to put up some points, I think.
Wow, this is it's amazing to me. Aren't we just witnessing two teams with enough offensive skill to move the ball, but having real difficulty on third downs and in red zone type situations? And this total still at 49.5.
Kicking field goals. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Like I said, either the games are starting out like they look like dead unders, or they're coming out like a house of fire. There's no middle ground for these week one games so far.
I mean, if Tampa Bay gets a little lead, Bulls will start running.
I mean, but you got to worry about just kicking field goals, though. I mean, it's great for our unders, but I mean, if you're back on the side, you want some points. But I don't want points right now.
Let's see what else. What other options? Native Queen just cashed the next score, a field goal. 23.5 alive first half total. Alive first half team totals 13.5 for the Bucks, heavily juiced to the under. 10.5 for the Cowboys, heavily juiced to the under.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised. I mean, okay, we got 9 points in the first quarter, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. I would. If I didn't already have bets on the under, I would take a live total under at 49.5.
Yeah, so would I.
Because Bowles likes to run. If Tampa Bay gets out to a little lead, he'll start running a lot.
Oh, that was the whole idea about the bet. The bet will succeed if the Buccaneers are in control. If the Cowboys are capable of moving the ball consistently, that's when the bet can lose. I feel like I should drop another Marty Riggs. I'm just on the under 51, my man. Great to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining us. I've not bet anything live yet, but I'm thinking of adding to it. This feels so low scoring to me. Everything about that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to add a 50 spot.
Hey, Pete, I think Jose's got the link working.
Yep. Hey, Jim, just for fun, I'm having a good day. I add a little 50 spot to it also.
Cool. Okay.
49.5.
Yeah. So Pete and I just locked in on the under 49.5. Pete, you got it at what number did you get it at? I can't.
49.5 minus 110.
Oh yeah, no, but when you bet it initially.
Oh, I hit it a few times. I limped in. I got a little at 53, then a little at 52.
Oh wow, you got 53 action. That's nice.
Little. I mean, I was limping.
Okay. I got 51. All right, so okay, the first live bets are now in. And it's starting to heat up in here. We got Pistol Pete, Loshak, and the Big Ragu, and a ton of great cappers in the chat. Kobe's Corner says this game should be low scoring, both quarterbacks with no preseason.
Yeah. Slow starts all the way around.
God, it's just it's never ending fun capping with you guys from sport to sport, from season to season.
Let's see something.
Enjoy it enormously.
Jim, did you see I made a tweet at Eddie Trunk? You know who Eddie Trunk is?
Not offhand, no.
He's a big hard rocking heavy. He was the host of that metal show.
Okay.
He was like, I hate getting all these ads for fucking sports betting. I just like to watch sports without betting. And I tweeted at him on the 8th. I said, Eddie, just take the Vikings as a home dog against Green Bay. This is just like when Metallica opened for Guns N' Roses in 1992. Wrong team favored, wrong band opening. Bam. They closed as a favorite and won easily.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. So are you good then, Pete? You have the stream?
Oh, let me check.
Jose, I often talk so highly about what he does for us, for me as a producer, but he was at a watch party. He went home so that he could get us a link that would work.
Man.
That's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of friend and colleague he is.
Yeah, we'll hang out one day. I owe him a steak. I'm also going to buy Ian Cameron some drinks and dinner if he wants, because his handicapping also helped me out a hell of a lot. Same thing with DJ Big Boss.
Hell, we might as well just go to the buffet line.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I'm seeing it.
Oh,
Atlantic City. Here
Beautiful.
we come.
If you're seeing it, did it just end the first quarter, or is it being a commercial for a bit?
50 seconds to go.
Okay, good. So I'm ahead.
Yeah, 47, 46, 45.
Well, Jose, thank you so much for taking that time and the care.
Yeah.
You're just such a great friend.
Awesome.
And great. Thank you. I'm just going to send him a quick loving message.
Oh, man. Thanks so much, Jose Bouquet.
All right.
I owe him a steak.
Yeah. I'm surprised he put the ball up down there like that.
Princess C says, stop, you ain't coming to AC, Big Ragu, Jimmy Bag. We are. Viper says, Jimmy gone soft. I have gone a little soft, leaving the low-income community that I spent those years in. But I tell you what, there is something that gets me about someone who's like consistently putting in effort to help everybody out. And Jose does that. And it's a rare thing to find. And it makes me want to work with Jose for as long as I live. That's what it makes me want to do. Over under second half, 23.5 right now, says Caleb Morrison. Okay, why don't we take a second here then, because it's the quarter break. Let's take a quick second and go over a quick look at what's going on in week 2. And let's only look at overreactions, okay? So Chiefs are minus 3.5 on the Thursday nighter. You know that's going to be it's going to be hammered against the Chargers. You have the Panthers plus 2.5 at the Giants. I wonder if that minus 2.5 sticks around for the Giants. You have the Colts minus 4 at the Jaguars. That guttural sound, Pete. What are you thinking when I say that?
I don't know. It's like after today, I put in all the work and it was so successful. I'm like, you can just do this kind of easy, no sweat, no problem, lightweight. Now I'm looking at these lines and situations and I'm like, damn, I forgot. I was just doing this a week ago. I forgot how hard this is.
Ravens minus 4 at home to the Dolphins. The Jets are just a terrible football team. I don't think we should take too much in the Ravens being a really good one at this point. Dolphins plus 4. You have the Steelers plus 1 at home to the Patriots. I mean, that should be bet immediately.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to. Because the overreaction is, look how good the Steelers looked against the Bengals.
Yeah.
No, but I don't. Is that an overreaction? Because when I look at that game, that's not a bet on Pittsburgh. That's a fade of the Pats.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, great that Pittsburgh looked good today, but
it was a double-up spot for me. There's Cheshire Cat says this was the first game the starters played in the actual game. So that spot in particular, the Patriots, I don't know how, I found it very amusing that the late money came in on Belichick. We opened the show talking about biases. And that was just a clear vividness bias of gamblers thinking Belichick against a rookie quarterback, right? We talked about it on the show today, Pete.
Yeah. I don't know if I would call – I mean, that's a pretty legitimate years-long angle to take. You know what I mean? I mean, I was fading them today, but, in general, all that stuff. Belichick off the loss, Belichick with time to prep, Belichick going against a rookie quarterback, grow Belichick. I mean, it's just like, historically, that's a legitimate, thing to do, so –
I think maybe it was questioning why he would have Patricia and Joe Judge share offensive coordinating.
That's mind-boggling still.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, for me, I mean, I think we talked about it. It was just like, are you just going to believe that all of a sudden Belichick went from like the greatest magician of all time to like leader of a dysfunctional program? Maybe, but that's a big if. You know what I mean?
I don't think the program's dysfunctional.
No,
But no, I think that he's stuck in a way where he wants to be comfortable every day when he gets to the stadium, and I think that's a mistake. You don't why your comfort level with Patricia and Joe Judge. It shouldn't factor in. It should be who is best suited to lead this team offensively from a coordinating perspective. It shouldn't be, I want to be comfortable when I get to the stadium and be friends with my offensive coordinators kind of thing. I don't know. I still don't understand. I guess that's the issue. I still don't get why he did all those things. So I'm still confused.
yeah, I hear you. And then in the meantime, we'll see what happens tonight. But the Bengals pick them against Dallas or getting a point.
Oh, that has to. The Bengals have to be bet on.
Of course. Is that a real line, or am I seeing?
What do you think of the Bears plus 9.5 at the Packers?
Bears plus 9.5.
Yeah, what did you take away from that game? When Pete gets done answering, I want to hear Jimmy's takeaway about that.
The
Did you
Bears.
watch it?
I watched some of it. What I need to do though, because having this show set up on my mind and making sure that the contest, like I just had other, like I need to sit with everything. That's why I really like the Tuesday night opportunity. I need to sit with the stats. I need to go over things. I need to rewatch things. I need to sit with everything. I feel like, it's funny, and we were talking about it in our MLB show. I was saying that my first gut feeling on a baseball card has a pretty hefty negative ROI. My gut is a losing baseball capper, and quite likely just a losing capper all around. And what's working here over the last 7 months, 8 months is understanding that. And what's changed? What changed today, let's say, or changed on my Tuesday football show. When I first started doing the Tuesday breakdown, I would come in with my plays. And I stopped doing that. And maybe that takes away from the actual show, but it's making me fucking money.
I don't think it's taken away from the show at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. People will pick up on it.
It's more actually it's more engaging for you because now you take away the bias that you had, and you're just putting out information per se, not a bias pick of your own. Then I see your plays kind of develop.
How about Rams minus 11 over Atlanta?
That one and the Bears at 9.5. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah, 2 scores already.
Absolutely wild.
As close as these games been today, all of them, a lot of them except for 2, basically. They tell me that there's that much difference going away.
Oh, you're saying Atlanta? No, I'm saying I would be leaning Rams.
Are you leaning Rams?
Yeah.
There's a perfect point with Viper saying Chiefs torch the Cards, Jim. I mean, he's talking about something else, but the Cards, there's a perfect example. I'm sitting here 22-4 so far this year, and the Cards was all me. That was 100% me saying, oh, it's gone too far. It's all like, it was just my own capping. And it was a loser. Look at everything else that I was betting, was working with others and studying the market and studying everything.
Yeah, I mean, that Chiefs game, just Mahomes is just so good in opening games, always. You know what I mean?
That's what Topset was saying. Topset was like, look what he did in the preseason, what he had 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. Topset was all over the Chiefs. And so was Ragu.
That was my one bright spot, one of my few bright spots. I just figured he's trying to keep pace with our guy, up in Buffalo. Motivation. Motivation per se.
Caleb Morrison says Atlanta plus 11. I don't know about that. I'm thinking Rams. Kirk Gray likes Atlanta plus 13. Gerald Jones, Atlanta may be a point spread bet on. Cheshire Cat says Rams, check.
Cardinals, that was a – I mean, it doesn't matter if you lose by a point or you lose by 25, I guess. It does mess with your psyche a little bit. I've never had an opening season like this in my entire life, so this is very –
Kobe says, Jimmy Pete Ragu, what you like for Monday Night Football? I really might pass on that one. I'm just going to look at college, MLB, some of the NFL stuff. I think I might pass on that one. I'm sure there's –
I like the under.
I love the under. I fucking love the under. By the way, the live under in our game here is 46.5.
Yep.
I love the under in Denver, Seattle. Love it because
really?
Yeah, because if there's sharp money coming in on Seattle, what do you do with that? And for me, I don't think that means, Geno Smith is going to light it up. No, it means the 12th man's going to be in action and they're going to be really hard. The defense is going to try harder than they've ever tried because they don't want Russ to come in and stomp on their throat and make them look like clowns. So
there you go.
We talk about it with we talk about it in MLB, and so in MLB when the dog is getting all the sharp money and I don't have the balls to bet on the dog, what I do is I trust the dog starting pitching, and so I usually take a first 5 under because I think that the underdog is going to hold off the favorite pitching. There's so here if there's sharp money coming on the Seahawks, it can't possibly because Geno's going to light it up. So I think the under is really live, and I'm surprised with the sharp money on the Seahawks. I find it extremely interesting. Tom Leach on Seahawks plus 6.5. Oh, that was a stomp. There you go. That was a huge play for our under. Huge play. All right. Field goals.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It was funny because I took some jabs from people because of the amount of action I had week 1. And, last year I had a monster week 1, and then I had losing weeks, week 2, 3, 4. But there's never been anything quite like this. Exciting. Kobe Hartman says it's under 46.5 worth playing. I would say, well, it's 43.5 live.
Oh, shit. You're right. I just saw 46.5 a few seconds ago.
So did they miss the kick?
Must have been. I don't know.
It hasn't happened. I don't know.
Yeah, looks like it. 6-3.
I don't have it.
Well, Tampa's threatening, looks like.
There's Kev Reed in the house. Kev, what's happening?
Oh, they sacked Brady.
Injury timeout. Oh, my gosh. Brady hurt?
No, it didn't look like it.
D Nez 002 says, Pete, do you put any college football picks out? No. Honestly, what I do, I mean, I'm gonna focus more on myself. But I swear to God, I watch Ian Cameron's videos, I watch Big Boss and Ragu's videos, and that helps me out a huge amount. I mean, obviously, my 20 years of experience doing this helps as well. But what's my plan for this week? Watch Ian Cameron. I mean, obviously, I'm going to read the news. I'm going to look at the stats. But I'm not going to make any decisions probably until I watch Ian Cameron's videos, Big Boss videos, and Ragu's videos.
You know, it's funny this came up, Pete, because I haven't asked you this. I always thought with the way that you cap and focusing on the market and not watching the games, but following along with what's happening and studying the stats and all that, I thought, God, you succeed in college football. You won a huge contest at our old job out of 2,000 people. I was like, how do you do that with college football? I would think that would be a harder one. Like when we're talking NFL and MLB and NHL, the pros, but college football and college basketball, I would think would be more difficult. Why does it not seem to be more difficult for you?
It is. I mean, yeah. I mean, college basketball. Yeah. I mean, it's really. I mean, I am preparing for college basketball this year, but it definitely takes a huge amount of time, which is why it's so valuable if there's someone who can sort of do research for you that you trust. You know, I mean, when I watch people or read people who I trust, I'm way more. I'm barely. I mean, the picks are important for sure, but I'm much more listening to just their analysis and their research and stuff like that. Ian Cameron's great for that. His insights are valuable for that week, but very valuable just in general for the entire season. He has a great read on just the condition of a team, the coaching preferences and tendencies and stuff like that in general. So yeah, it's. I mean, the important thing is just don't bite off more than you can chew. If you have an edge, bet it. If you don't have an edge, okay. Have fun with it, I mean,
he finkled it, Pete. He finkled it.
What happened?
I don't know if the laces were out. The laces were out when the Bengals missed that field goal, but no, laces weren't out. He just finkled it. Missed field goal. Missed field goal. I'm enjoying this run in 2022 so much because of my evolution in capping. And when I watched like the stars of my show, the Matty Ices and the Ron Crawfords and the Babanos not care at all about the perceived sharp money or the line movement or things of that nature, I don't get it. I think that it'd be best to combine the two. I don't know why. But then, a lot of people like my NHL show better than my MLB show because in the NHL show, I don't care about where the money is. And maybe it's going to take away from my show this coming year, but I'm going to care about where the money is in NHL.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to I don't think it's ever valuable to ignore information, but it is always valuable to not over or underestimate, to estimate it appropriately. You know what I mean? Which can be difficult. You know what I mean? Especially if there's someone who you really respect who then says is on the wrong side of your bet. But look at me, right? Dennis Garcia on the opposite side of my take. And I was like, oh shit. And I thought about it. And I was like, you know what? I think he's right. And so I adjusted my my betting. Now, if I had like really strong reason to love the Jags, maybe I would have been, I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, so that's, you take information and you weigh it and you try to be roughly as accurate in your valuing of it as you can be,
Saturated is a little bit ahead of us, but man, I did not want this to happen. I was like, come on, can the Cowboys put some points on the board so we could live bet the Bucs?
There you go. What happened? Pick six, huh?
I don't know if it was a pick six, but it was a pick for sure. I'm about to see it right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dak, Bowles likes to blitz, and Dak just not good with pressure. His stats under pressure are significantly lower. I think he'll have a great game against a team that doesn't blitz much. I'd have to look at the schedule to see who that is, but he'll have some good games. This was not likely to be one of them because of the way the defensive schemes that the Bucs use. Very blitz heavy. Not good under high pressure situations.
God, I wish I had have made some moves here on the Bucs while we were watching, just like a couple $50 bets. I remember I said out loud, I'm like, how is it still 2.5? How is it still 49.5?
When Gallup comes back, though, that might be a nice boost to Dallas offense.
Should be.
Yeah. Dak had good chemistry with him. When he's going up against a non-elite defense and Gallup is back, look for Dallas to have a big offensive day that day.
Yeah, there's certain situations. We talked about it last year with Gas Station Sushi. Would talk about the predictability of Tyler Mahle on the road last year, and how he was so predictable, and what a gift that was to us. I thought the same thing about Joe Flacco. I know there's some hate for Zach Wilson for whatever reason, and people were like, "Oh, they could be better with Joe Flacco," and not for a second did I believe that. I mean, Flacco is a guy that I know. I know what he does. I know how he, like, I just, and I feel that there's a similarity with Flacco with Geno Smith. And I'm astonished that the under isn't getting hammered in the Broncos Seahawks game. I was astonished that the under wasn't being hammered in the Ravens game. If there was a spot where I could take a financial risk, it would have been on that Ravens game. That was my most confident spot on the board. And it wasn't the Ravens -7. It was the under and the Jets team total under. Those were my two, like that. I don't remember being that confident in a football game in a few years. I was certain, I was certain. And then when it moved to 6.5, I was like, what could the Sharps possibly be thinking? And I thought the same way when the Seahawks moved to 6.5. Now, I'm not on the Broncos. I'm only on the under.
I mean, there's something weird going on with Zach Wilson because the Jets' stats were way better last year when he was out. So it seems like maybe he doesn't have the locker room on his side, or they play harder. I don't know.
Yeah, but I looked at that too. Even the two Flacco games, 3 touchdowns and no picks, that wasn't a fair estimate. Those numbers were not a fair estimation as to how he was on the field. He was cleaning up in garbage time. Both of those games, he got to 17 points. I thought that team total under 17.5 was just like a gift from the gods. Now, I got it at -130. There was juice involved in it. But
so you see Zacco almost threw the ball 60 times today.
Sorry, who?
Flacco.
Oh, Flacco, yeah.
59 pass attempts.
Yeah, and so
29 points.
Oh, look at that. All right.
Inefficiencies.
Can you believe it's just all being – this is just so strange. So strange with everything. The live total's now 39.5.
Yeah.
When do we go for a middle?
Well, second half adjustments, we'll see. But what are they going to show? What are you going to take away from that? Slow start, basically. That's all you can do right now.
Yeah, the Jets are a weird team. They aside from the quarterback, I think it's a pretty good offensive roster. The offensive line is decent, but
it hurts not having Mackay. To be honest, one of the reasons why I so trusted the under was because I trust Salah. I really think he can get the most out of defensive players.
Yeah,
I think the Jets are good. Like, what's the under right now? Shout out to my guy, Top Set in the house. Yeah, we just kind of. I don't want to go over it too much because I don't want to lead it. We've talked about my gut being a losing capper. I don't want to sit here and lead the second week. I really need to sit with things for a while. But that Jets Browns totals at 41.5. I mean, that game goes under. Come on. With Brissett going up against Flacco and the Browns knowing that, I don't know. I'd have to look at weather and look at it further, but that's the first thing that is screaming out at me.
I'll look at some teasers. I'll tell you another play I had, which the teaser wasn't necessary, but I had the Browns and the Vikings plus 7.5 on a teaser as well, which was
wow. That's nice.
Yeah. So let's look at some of these teasers. I don't know. Washington getting 1.5 at Detroit. I don't know. Is Washington good now? Maybe they are. What the hell do I know?
How about the Packers? against the Bears at home.
Washington
9.5.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's an overreaction spot.
I'm saying tease the Packers.
And there you go. Pittsburgh, small home dog, totals 43, going up against the Pats. That might be a nice teaser side.
When you tease, you're doing 2 teamers or 3?
It depends on what books are offering.
Yeah.
I'll do a 2-teamer, but yeah, some 3-teamers. If you get decent odds on a 3-teamer, it actually has as much value as the old long teasers.
We have a new stream set up by Jose for you guys that might be a little closer.
Yeah, because the other one went away, I noticed.
Let me see this here. Pop this. Maybe I can make it work. I'll see. So it'd be fun if we were all on the same one, but let me pull this up here. Marlon Z in the house. No, Marlon, I made mistakes. I added $50 to my under bet, but I did that when I could have very easily bet the Bucks because both things made no sense. The Bucks minus 2.5 and the under 49.5. Can you believe this? 9-3. I mean, this is just heavenly. These live shows that we do, it's going to be just solely about making money. One thing I try not to do though is, you start the year 22-4, and you're like, I'm not going to think like, oh, this house is money, or oh, I'm up so much I should open everything up. I'm really working hard at keeping everything the same. Good God, it feels good. Never had a start like this in any season of any sport in my life. Ooh-wee. What does Captain Morgan think about all this? Oh, shit. He's banging broads, big ones. All right. Nasty Nate teased Bucks and the under.
9-3.
Oh, Daiquiri. Thank you, Lucky Power, my friend.
I'm looking at the odds of who's going to score the first touchdown. There's not even a price for no touchdown. Usually like none, or you get an odds, some type of odds on that.
Oh wow. The stream that Jose has is faster than mine.
These are good.
Okay, I'm gonna move over to it. Are you guys on the new stream that he set up?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh wow, dope. Oh wow, dope, Jose. Great job. That's fast. Oh, great job. Okay, I'm off here. So okay, dope. Move this over.
Let's see. CD Lamb. Now. He didn't run a good. Went right through his arm.
All right. We have a special guest joining us. I love the way this has gone, though. To get a chance to hang out with you two guys is exactly what I was hoping for. And I wanted to bring somebody who has not been on any of the football streams thus far. So we have a special guest here that he's gonna come at halftime. I'll give him the invite. And we will go.
Panthers getting 2.5, 42.5 total. Is there any way the Giants win by double digits?
What a difference Dable and Kafka make.
Yeah. Jones still sucks, though.
You see, Dable got into him pretty good after that turnover, and he went down there. He responded, went down the field, and scored that touchdown.
It's funny you mention that because part of the reason why Dimes got drafted the way he did and all that was because the coaches love his character.
Yeah.
But we don't see that.
Him too. Bad.
Well, we don't see that, right? I mean, we don't see that when you watch the mistakes he made. I mean, sometimes you see it when he takes the ball and bolts. You see that he's like, But Lucky Power moving on the Cowboys money line plus 270 live. Let's take a look at where we are live right now.
Yeah.
We're right now the Cowboys are plus 6.5. The total's down to 38.5. God, I think obviously things can go against you, and things are rolling with us right now, first week of the year. But it just feels like a similar feeling that I had in the Louisville UCF game is what we had here. And I've got to bottle up that feeling when you're looking at a live line going, how could they be doing this? Not looking at the line going, oh, I'd like to get in on some action. But looking at the line going, this makes no sense. How could they be doing this?
38.5.
All right. Newcomer says, any plans for a Woodbine Day before the end of the season? I would love to. My issue right now is just that there's so many things we have to do here at the house right now. It's just ridiculous. And that's why I was trying so hard to move in. You guys know, I thought I was moving in July 15th. So when we move in September 1st, I'm fucked. It's like my schedule is so hardcore right now. So I'm just like, if you everything's moved in and nothing's set up, and I'm not helping really. I'm just gambling alone in the dark with my shirt off and a bottle, So it's funny. I'm 22-4, and the wife's pissed off at me.
That's how it goes, isn't it?
I don't give a fuck. Fucking working, man. Fuck. Making fucking money and working. But there's certain things I can't say anymore. I've said too many times. The main thing I haven't said, the one you know what you were getting yourself into. You knew what you were getting yourself into. I haven't said that in a few years because I used it 10 to 12 times.
Okay, here's a line I might be interested in.
What's that?
Tampa Bay minus 7.5. Where'd it go? It just fucking disappeared.
They're 5.5 live.
No, I'm talking like an alternate line.
Oh, I feel you.
Okay. Plus money price.
Okay. Nuke, I'm not against it yet. I don't want to say I'm against it because I reached out to Skydragon. I reached out to Dennis Garcia saying I'd love to do it. Hit the track with him. So I would like to do it. I just
stupid bets here.
I'm just also, you guys, I think a lot of you guys knew my mother-in-law was on the 5th floor of that apartment building in Parkdale. So
it's gone.
Not having doing everything on my own or on our own has been a little more difficult. Mike M says, I like Sky. You know what, Mike M, Skydragon, our guy Dennis Garcia, he's the most interesting man in the world. And when I meet him and hang out with him, I'm not going to – I'll take a picture for myself, to show my friends when I'm with them, but I won't put anything out online. I don't want anyone to know what he looks like. I want to keep that mystery going, man. All right.
I'm looking at some baseball lines for tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Yeah, let us know.
Strider starting. I have to just make sure that I'm on top of where all these guys are right now. Strider going against the Giants. That's interesting.
Is he the best pitcher in the National League not named Jacob deGrom?
Yeah, I don't know. He's let's review his most up-to-date situations here. But, yeah, going up against the Giants coming off a Sunday night game with let's see what we got here. Yeah. No reason to think he won't be okay tomorrow.
We got a light card tomorrow.
Oh, that's a
double-header with the Marlins.
Vipe already bet it. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
What happened in the game? TV timeout?
That was a big first down. Oh, geez.
Wow.
What a grab.
What a strike.
Oh. Oh.
Man, I wish I'd have played that
Sweet
7.5
Julio.
now.
Oh, he's hurting.
Yeah.
Wow, this game is really low scoring, man. I should have put more than 50 live.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, why?
Listen, Brady's notorious for starting out slow first halves and then pouring it on in a second.
Ooh, that was close.
Wow, look at that.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I thought Julio
they're starting to get different looks now. Starting to get
wow.
different reads on the defense. Look out.
What a catch, and rolling it into his body was so spectacular.
Julio.
Oh wow, what kind words from RVD 420? Just thanking us. Says learns a lot from us, and he appreciates it very much. We're a team here, and that's that's another reason why I'm not betting baseball tomorrow. When we work together, I cash at a high rate. When I do it on my own, I don't. A lot of people are like, because I've been on like a 7-month winning streak, and they're like, your bookie's still taking your action. And he is. But he won't if this keeps going. I mean, it's been 7 months of this. And so I'm not going to bet on my own. I'm not going to do it. If I don't talk it out with you guys and the chat and have an expert with me on the show, I'm just not going to do it. Fuck it. Build something in the backyard. Oof. This is just
coming up.
Come on, all field goals.
You think they're going to turn it up in the second half, or you think Bowles just going to like do a lot of running plays and Dallas is going to try to move the ball quick and not really be able to?
No, I think it's a good thing that you bring up because 5 years ago I would think, oh, got to get the middle, got to go for the middle.
Yeah.
And now why?
Take the money and run.
Yeah.
No, I'm not necessarily going for a middle. I'm just.
Oh no, I know you're not.
That on its own. You know what I mean?
No, I mean my mind's like I would bet the middle just right now because I'm like, oh wow, look, you get 11 points for the double up and
just
cut down some of your risk. My risk live is only $50 and my bet is only $200. So,
what's the second half total going to be? You think it's going to be 24.5?
No, it'll be more than that.
I think so. Yeah, it'll be more than that. I mean,
wow, the 39.5 looks too high right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Friggin' crazy.
27.5, 28. What'll it be?
Yeah, I don't know how much of a delay we're on with this. Yeah, they went it through 6-6, 12-3.
Oh, this is sweet. This is just heaven. This is just too sweet. But I got to start hammering certain spots. The Bucks were minus 2.5 and the total was 49.5, and we kept saying, how could it be this way? Ron Lofton, Bucks money line first half in the bank. Nice job. Lyndon says, imagine being a Cowboy fan. Saturated says, dude, triple down on it at 39. No.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Hey, so you could read that two ways with that line coming out. Like we said, Brady in the offseason not going a whole lot, or Dallas kind of making the improvements, keeping it closer early on especially. But so far, I got to say nothing's really changed. Tom did what I expected him to do in Dallas. I'm more surprised in Dallas's effort than I am in the Bucs' effort. You know, the non not that they're getting blown out because they're not, but they're just there's no offensive production for Dallas.
Top set says Tampa Bay.
Brady, they're just not putting it in the end zone. They're moving. They're just not, putting the ball up in the end zone. but that'll change. But
Top
the thing is, you can't keep kicking field goals on the road and stay in the game long term. So then again, we've been around too many times. We've seen it happen. So does Dallas make a run in the second half now that Tampa keeps kicking field goals all over the place?
Topset says Tampa Bay team total over 24.5, and Cheshire Cat says, why wouldn't I bet the Bucs team total over? This is why, and I'm not saying it's not the right bet. I mean, it could easily come through, but this is why. And Pete and I talked about it off the top. You cash unders when the Buccaneers are ahead because Brady slows the game down to a fucking halt. They run the ball. They hike it with 2 seconds left in the play clock. There's just no need. He's so cool as a cumber, and he just doesn't push it and force it. That's the only reason. I'm not saying cash.
I've seen it many times where Tampa scored 10 points, 12 points, and then they wind up scoring 34 for the game, 35, 31, that type of thing. So,
but that's when they're pushed.
Yeah.
Are the Cowboys?
They're not pushed right now.
You guys don't like
starts like 10-0 with them. Very similar vibe with this game here. Mostly at home, they play the unders at home a lot better than they do on the road. But it looks like they're very comfortable whatever they're doing. They look like they're in a good spot on the defensive side for sure.
We have some looks here coming up for tomorrow's baseball card. Nukeworker says Texas flew to Miami after today's game for a day-night double bubble starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time, then fly back to Texas after for a series at home versus Oakland on Tuesday.
2 in the queue, huh?
I have a baseball question. We're going to get into football here in a second, but I do have a baseball question. Quick baseball question. Pete, what is your expectations of this 5-game series, Jays-Rays?
Jays-Rays.
5-game series.
Okay, let me see. I haven't even let me see. I mean, I would I would trust you maybe a little bit more than anyone else. I mean, I haven't had a great read on Toronto this year. Hasn't been terrible, but they have not been a team that I've had a great read on. I've been okay with Tampa Bay. They just continue to be a team that is just a good bet on in general. And let's see who's starting. Springs, he's one of those guys, a typical Tampa Bay starter, not, dominant, but just reliably 5 innings, 1 run. I don't know. We'll see what the lines are. I mean, probably I have no clue what Toronto will be.
I've had a very, very good ROI on the Jays this year. I really, really milked them and stayed off of them for long periods of time when I could have faded them like Dennis was doing it. I could have been better at it. Dennis is probably Sky Dragon's ROI is probably better, but I think that the Rays are going to completely outclass the Jays. That's what I think. I think they're going to completely outclass and show the Jays what a complete baseball team looks like.
Yeah, I mean, in general, it seems to me that Toronto tends to be, better on the road and, overvalued at home.
Yeah.
You're playing all 5 games in Toronto, huh?
Yeah. Now, Manoah is a fucking bulldog right now that you don't want to go up against. But I just think that we're going to be completely outclassed. And I'm very nervous about the series. All right, you guys, we are bringing on our next guest. I've loved rolling with Loshak and Ragu for the first half, but we're going to do a little energy change here. And he's making his live stream football debut of this year, of this season. And he was a star in NFL Pub Hub last season. Please welcome to the show, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, Clint McLean in the house.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
Your bike today, man.
Oh, it felt good, Jimmy.
Skull, baby, skull.
It felt good. Best part is I had Razor chirping at me all off season. How you like me now, Razor Sharp? Huh? Ask Aaron Rodgers how that grass tastes. Let's go.
It was a big win, and we were on the Vikings in our Pub Sports Radio Circa Millions card. Wow. So what's next week for you guys? Let's take a look right now for your action next week and see what
We
we're
got a
talking.
weird schedule this year, Jimmy.
Odds wise, your Vikings.
Monday night at the Eagles.
Oh wow, that's a nice one. 3-point dogs at the Eagles. What are your thoughts?
I mean, why would you not just go back to the well? I mean, I know we're coming off of a gigantic win, but the team has bought into the new coaches. You can't start off with a better foot than defeating our arch rivals, the guys who have ruled over the division for the last generation. And you're giving me the Eagles? Now, don't get me wrong. I know the Eagles absolutely went off today, but we would punt the Lions out of our stadium. The fact they had a shootout with the Lions, I don't want to hear about it, Jimmy. Our defense will wreck anything the Lions could have put up. So the Eagles, dangerous, good offense. I don't want to hear about it. Vikings +3, easy money on the road. We've got more than a week, Jimmy. So it's not like we've even got a short week to like turn it around real quick or something and go on the road. We got an extra day to game plan. We're going to blow these guys out of the water. It's Viking season this year, baby.
Are you not concerned about the overreaction after the Vikings had such a big win and the Eagles looked so bad?
No, Jimmy, you got it reversed. The overreaction is the Eagles being favored. They put up so many points. Jalen Hurts is the talk of the town. Everybody in fantasy football wants Jalen Hurts now. Look how potent their offense is. Like that's the overreaction. The Eagles being favored is the overreaction, not the other way around.
I agree that 3 probably is unlikely to stay. What do you think, Ragu? You think that 3 sticks around, or you think we see a 2.5?
Yeah, I think it dumps down a little bit. I know one guy be happy. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
23.5 is the second half total. 23.5.
Nice. Good job, Peter.
No, just wanted to let you guys know. What a shock. Wow. Okay, carry on. Sorry about that.
What are you going to do with that 23.5?
I don't know. I'll think about it while you guys
You're
are
so
doing
sharp on the number now, you got to take advantage of it. Hey, but I know one guy that'll be happy to bet with you, Prince of the City. He fades the Eagles every time they play. And I had the Eagles today. Jimmy and we had them in the contest pick too, right, Jimmy? But anyway, What the hell? Yeah, you're probably on the right side with that. I would have to say so.
Alex Canyon
have to show something. But we can't listen, we can't take away too much. All we can do is take stuff at face value for week 1. There's a lot of football to play going forward.
Well, I just think we have to take advantage of overreactions, and I'm not saying
that's you have to do.
I'm not saying that Minnesota one is yet, but Ragu, come on, UCF Louisville. The only reason why you weren't on Louisville was because of you have a bias and a love for UCF. Your breakdown of the under was so spot on. I mean, you cashed that under by 26 points, I believe, 26.5 points, and I got on the under, and I knew that there was no overreaction on Louisville, and your cap put us in that direction, and then we live bet Louisville.
I was paying close attention to Louisville because they're playing FSU this week, so I want to see how they would look against. I kind of knew. I mean, I thought UCF would do a little bit better than they did, competition wise, but they just dominated them. They didn't look good at all in that game. UCF didn't, but I kind of figured that they would come back. They would come back after that beating they took by Syracuse. I was like, that's not the Louisville team that I think is going to show up for UCF. Just come out real flat in that game.
Your breakdown was so good. It should have made me more money. I put $100 on each of those bets and the $50 on the live bet. And afterwards, I was like, God damn, why open up that fucking 12?
Unders have been very good for us this year. I mean, we cashed 3 unders the other night. We talked about them. What was the first? It was the Louisville game, and it was the Rams game, of course.
Yeah, that first half under was a gift.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this game here. We have Lucky Power saying low shack. I like that over 23.5 in the second half.
Yeah, I don't recommend anyone tail it necessarily, but I took a little bit of it right now.
I like it.
Okay. Let's ask Clint, what do you think here of the second half? Is there anything that you're interested in?
Yeah, I don't mind that because this game is this close to being busted wide open. Like we've had some big, huge chunk plays. We've had opportunities for these teams to score, and the defenses have really stepped up like exactly when they needed to. I liked the total under in general, but for the second half, I don't mind that. I do feel like it could go over here for the second half. I got a live touchdown prop. DraftKings tosses those out there. So I got Leonard Fournette anytime touchdown. And then, of course, my defense and special team touchdown still riding. First and last sprinkles at 28-1. Jimmy, I could not believe that I got the interception on the 20-yard line. And somehow I got no pick six to bring it home. Yeah, man, I really wanted to cash that ticket there. So far, no touchdown. So I'm still alive. The hope is there. But we'll got to be patient and see who gets in the end zone first.
I'm very curious. I would like to. Princess City says, "Are you coming to Philly next week?" Clint, are you coming to Philly? Is that where UFC is next week?
No, I am not coming to Philly next week, unfortunately. Even though I'm an Arizona fan, I'm a Minnesota fan. I'm in Arizona, so I won't be traveling for the Eagles game. Unfortunately, would love to. That's going to be one of these days, Jimmy. Me and the family have talked about it. That's going to be like our pilgrimage. You know, when people used to travel cross country to go see a holy site, we're going to go watch a game in Vikings Stadium. One of these days, it's gonna happen. We're gonna take the whole damn family and get our asses out there for a football game, and I'm just going to weep with joy.
You should take a picture of you with all the dead birds, right? Right, all the birds. What part of the stadium is it that the birds fly into? Do you know?
That's a great question. I actually don't know about that.
Supposedly, there's just always like 50 dead birds sitting there. And that corner, pretty. Don't mean to change the vibe. Apologize, but yeah, there's this spot at the stadium where the birds think that they're flying along all nice, and then they smack wall.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's my fault. I shouldn't have brought that up. I should not have brought that up. That was my bad. The Bucs second half plus 110 for Marlon Z. No, I wouldn't bet it.
I don't mind that at all.
I think that the Bucs are going to slow this game down to a fucking. This is just working out so well. I think they're going to slow this game down a ton, and I think that they'll play like a prevent and not a prevent.
Walk away with a 2-point victory here somehow.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think they have any concern.
Field goals scare me though on the road, man. When your team's kicking field goals, I don't care if you kick 6 of them. That's not enough.
Viper asking if I missed the pigeons. No, I don't at all, man. Not at all. Just extremely thankful. I don't have to deal with that anymore. You know, being in a house, I don't have a lot of skills. My dad didn't teach me any skills. So like I can't fix things or put shit together or, you know, so it's moving into a place kind of shows how feeble I am. And I'm like, look, I'm 22-4. I'm up almost 4K. And that seems to
That's important.
It seems to not help. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm impressed by it, Jimmy.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed like 6 months after I started doing all this stuff seriously. I was like, anytime I did something impressive, I would be like, no one else has any clue why that was remotely impressive. They don't even know what it means, let alone are impressed by it. Only other degens. That's it. That's your target audience.
Yeah, Stella Girl says IKEA fail. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm just, you know, it's not something I'm proud of. That I'm fucking feeble. Jose Bouquet says I tell Helga I went 4-1 in the Cappers contest and she couldn't care less.
Yeah. Exactly.
I just get shushed all the time, Jimmy. I don't know about you guys. I just get shushed constantly because I'll be sitting there with my earphone in. I'm watching, a game or the UFC event. There's a huge knockout. And I jump up and and my wife is like, "Hey, babe. It's like, no, this is amazing." But she doesn't care. She doesn't care.
I wonder what happens now because now I'm in a house. Like that has not happened yet with us watching sports and the kids asleep upstairs because it's always been the kids asleep through this paper thin wall right beside us. And so I would get in huge trouble, but I don't know if I'll get in trouble here. I have not lived in a house since I left home at 17. So this is all
That's so cool, man.
And I'm 42 now, so it took 25 years to get into another fucking house, man. Wow.
Did you buy it or did you rent it?
Oh no, there's no buying houses in Toronto.
Right.
Yeah, we rented it. This is like a little house, real little, a beautiful backyard, but it's a real little house, and like it's worth. I don't want to bother saying it, but it's worth an alarming amount because that's just the situation out here. It's fucked. It's awful.
I am going to move on that Tampa Bay second half +1, guys, just so you know. I'm locking that in.
All right. Bucks +1 second half.
And I did take a few shots with the second half over 23.5. I mean, a small fraction of my overall play on the under, but a little bit.
Boston Nick, I'm on it, buddy. Let's go.
Shout out to Boston Nick.
Mike M saying how the price is so high in Toronto. It's just ridiculous. The Bucks are just going to run the ball down. Brady's going to milk this.
Oh, Godwin's out. Damn it.
Yeah,
I need
Godwin's
him in
out.
fantasy. That's not good.
Hey, I played Clint. I was telling Jimmy, I played my first fantasy league, first time ever. It's a family thing though. So
Oh,
it's
no
like
way.
bragging rights. $100, winner take all. We decided that whoever comes in second will get their money back. There's only 8 of us, but it's 176.
awesome,
Is that a good score? 176. We're the Jungle Kittens, baby. Look out.
There you go.
Jungle Kittens. It's a fucking rock band.
Fucking A. I'm taking the family down.
Live total.
It's all my wife's picks, by the way, too.
Kel. Yeah, man. Kel's
All she gave a shit about today is what's going on in fantasy. She just kept looking on the phone. How's our guys doing? I says, you got the phone. Look at it.
Does your wife like understand and appreciate sports betting at all, or?
Yeah, it's just to an extent she does. She
does?
doesn't understand a lot of it, but she knows when I got to send a bookie money or when I got a check coming or something like that. She understands.
All right. I mean, I'm happy to talk to her. I'll be like, you have any clue what a great call his call on BYU to beat South Florida over in the first half, he said.
Yeah, but she might understand a little bit of that, but she understands that bought us a good dinner the other night too.
Right. Even when they have a good attitude about it, they're just like, great.
She's a sport, man. She's a team player. So
that's all you can ask for. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I need another shot of old Captain Morgan. Fucking eye.
Get her done.
You look at the first half. There were 5 scores. They were just all field goals. So. Motion. Wow. I took the overs here. 23.5. At 24, I wouldn't have done it, but 23.5.
I fear your second half over. I fear it.
You need 3 touchdowns, no matter how you slice it.
And a field goal. Yeah, but I know. But
I just fear it because it goes against sort of what we talked about earlier when Brady's in control of a game.
I know.
Just a snail's pace. So you need Dak to step up. And have they given you any sign that they're capable of doing that against this Bucs defense?
Definitely not.
Yeah,
I might have just dunked off a few hundred or whatever, but it's fine.
I doubt it.
No problem.
You gotta watch that live betting. There goes Brady over the top. Nope. Close, but no cigar.
Damn, you're like a whole play ahead of me, Ragu.
Oh, we got it here. Jump in our private chat. Jose
was
hooked
like
it up
you.
for us.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're all on the same one.
The bottom link, yeah.
Yeah, you go to the private chat, go down to the bottom link. Jose hooked it up for us.
It was technical difficulties for me because that was the first time I ever did it.
Look at Lucky Power 6-0. I love it.
do we
I
get
love
sound with it somehow?
Oh, I don't know how you. Oh yeah, that's not. We don't want the sound. The
Oh,
sound-
never mind. My bad.
Yeah, get it off. Get it
I
off.
don't want to
get it
mess
off.
with everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Jose. You're beautiful. It's my guy right there. Guys,
Yeah,
I just,
man.
you know what I really need is one more score from Tampa Bay. DraftKings actually had this really cool promo where it's like a 10-point lead and auto win.
Oh,
So
they
I've got a
pay
big
you out.
fat
Yeah, I
bet
heard
on the
that.
Bucks money line. If they get up by 10 points, I win. I don't need the end of the game. It doesn't matter what happens after that. So I'm just rooting for a 10-point lead here from the Bucks so I can just get out of Dodge.
And they're dominating the game, and they're just kicking field goals all over the place.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Captain Mo and A and Dub, I'm in, man. Rance, we're 3-1 right now. Our pub circa millions card 3-1 with the Broncos left.
Beautiful.
DX Filer. That sounds like
So,
a
Jimmy.
song. Yeah, buddy.
With the circa millions thing, that's the
Yeah.
consensus picks from all of us in the chat and in the contest, right?
It's a consensus of everybody in the chat on our Thursday show.
And we're just gonna party our asses off when the team takes it down, right?
You know, I would sure like to have some pressure on us at some point. I think that
Oh.
would be the most, because I couldn't believe how much fun the show was. Now this Thursday, Jose's in Boston, and I don't know what I'm going to do at this point, because he was doing I don't know. We're going to have a meeting and talk about it tomorrow and see if I could possibly pull it off solo. But I would sure love for some pressure on us. That would be like if we were actually like, if we get through the first 3 weeks and we're sitting like, 12-3, or even like if we get into like the 7th or 8th week and we're, that would bring so much fun to the show.
What do you mean by pressure? What does pressure look like, Jimmy?
Pressure is when you're succeeding.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying to implement something that would add additional suspense to us being in the contest.
No, but if we start struggling, then who gives a fuck about that show? And that's fine, But if we can start succeeding and actually be in the running, and then that show takes on a huge level of excitement that I would love to be a part of. And I couldn't believe how much fun it was hosting it. Like I was buzzing. Like it's an hour-long show. We have to be done in an hour because Prize Picks. Well, we actually have an hour and 10 minutes. We have 10-minute grace period, but Prize Picks has Sharpie has his MLB show at 3:10. So it's like a tight show where each game comes up. The poll comes up for 2 minutes. It's pretty exciting. Like it was really fun hosting it. So I would love to see some early success so people will care about it.
Good shit. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. Drinking Hand says that he can see your account. Pete.
Oh shit!
He's joking. Look at Mike McCarthy, man. How many days does he have left getting a paycheck from the Cowboys? Fucking gotta be numbered.
Probably not many. Hey, Cheshire. Oh, man, I saved some money, man. Dodged a bullet. I did not bet against D-Rod, although I honestly thought he lost that fight, man. I had it scored for the Leech on Saturday. Jimmy, do you mind if I answer Mike's question? I know
I'd love that. I was just going to ask you. Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of hijacking the NFL stream.
It's all good. It's a punt right now.
So he just kind of wants to know what's going on in the UFC. Honestly, Mike, what is kind of getting to me with the UFC is ever since Dana White implemented the Tuesday Night Contender Series, there's a lot more fights for us to handicap. So guys like myself, Jimmy does this shit every single day, all the sports. It's what he does. MMA cappers like me basically spend the entire week leading up until Saturday. So we have a lot more time to dig in, dive deep, find an angle, one that makes sense. And now we're kind of splitting that time because you got to be ready for Tuesday now. And then you also got to be ready for, Bellator or PFL on Friday, and then also the UFC on Saturday. It's it's maximizing the workload that we have at the moment. So I think part of it is people like myself that are MMA only are just feeling the strain of additional work. And maybe we're not being as thorough as we used to be. Maybe we're not spending as much time as we used to on each and every fight because there's more of them to cover. And then I also think that because of the infusion of the Dana White's Contender Series fighters, we just see so much turnover. It's not the same roster anymore. These are not the best 200 fighters on the planet that we can watch fight 5 times a year and know what to expect the next time we see them. We're getting a whole bunch of young kids. We're getting some guy that's a finisher that's on a 2 or 3 fight win streak that's getting into the UFC that never should have been there. So he's going to make it to the big show, and we're going to expect him to perform at the level that we've seen when, in fact, he's not ready for it. And those knockouts were over subpar competition, and it's fluky if he gets one done in the UFC, but then he goes on a 3-fight skid and he's done and he's out because he never should have been there in the first place. So, it's a very confusing time in MMA at the moment. And honestly, anybody betting mixed martial arts, tread lightly, guys, because I went hard this year and I have paid for it. I've been getting my ass handed to me in 2022 betting mixed martial arts. And I think these are some of the reasons why. So you just got to be a little bit more careful with your spots. Instead of having a bet on 90% of the fight card on Saturday, if you're taking it seriously, really narrow it down, hone in on the couple fighters that you really know, you're really good at, you're really comfortable with, and then you should be able to go ahead and find spots to snipe. Ever since I kind of adopted that approach, it was just a couple weeks ago, I've already started to see at least a little bit more success. So I'm hoping to turn the year around with a couple months left to go here. But yeah, man, it has been a tough year this year in MMA.
Wow.
It was intense.
What a huge success you guys had on your show last night. Last night. I can't even count. Man, record breaking for us. Best show of the year for sure.
I'm bummed I didn't get there, Jimmy. I was supposed to go on last night, and my daughter has been sick all week, man. She's okay. We had to take her to the urgent care yesterday, though. So you know how that goes. I'm trying to keep the wife calm. I'm trying to make sure the kid's okay. We had to go see the doctor. Everyone's stress levels are through the roof. So I didn't end up getting to make it to the live show last night. I really wish I could have been there for it.
What a trip for you guys capping though. You spend all week breaking down the fights, and then 24 hours before they all get changed.
Oh my god!
That's why I was like, oh my god! I was like, this live show's gonna pop because in your last video you did, your weigh-in show popped, right? I mean, it was just it's exciting.
Craziest card of the year, Jimmy.
UFC is so strong on this channel and such a big part of us, and it's great. I fucking love it.
And I see. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, just Boston Nick saying plus money on Nate Diaz was friggin' awesome, says Nikki.
I'm glad you guys hit that. I'm just glad I avoided it, man. I was going to go on Ferguson. I decided to go ahead and stay off with all the craziness, so I saved a couple bullets there. That's nice. And I see Billy in the chat. Respect the hell out of this, man, talking about Agapova coming up this week. I think she's super live, Billy. I got to finish up my study on that fight, but they're throwing my babies together, Jimmy. The two girls that I admire most in mixed martial arts, they're head-to-head on Saturday, and I'm going to have to pick one to side with. And I think I'm going to have to go with Agapova.
Well, it's just nice not to hear Jose calls an athlete his baby boy, because I dry heave every time he does it, JR Smooth says, can you all talk about the football game? Y'all haven't talked about the game at all, just talking about other stuff. Sorry, Smooth. Sorry, it's just we're all making money here. It's just a sit back and fucking cash situation. We're all on the under.
I'll tell you one thing. Yeah. How about this, Jimmy the Bag? Next week, Bengals first half team total over. It'll be less than 14. They're going to put 2 touchdowns up on Dallas, right? I mean, more likely than not, right?
It depends what our expectations of Mixon are, because I think this Cowboys secondary is very good. Very good. And they've shown that they're very good here this year, and they're going to continue to be very good. So we have to cap their run defense. because Burrow had a bad start doesn't mean he. I think this Cowboy secondary is as good or better than they were last year.
Does Burrow suck a little bit now? Was that like
No, not at all. But he had the appendectomy. He didn't, play in the preseason, and I think even what we've seen here in this game, this Cowboys secondary has been very good. What were you gonna say, Ragu?
No, you're right with the Burrow situation. I was just talking out loud a little bit. I should have been on mute.
It's all good, buddy.
I'm talking not talking to myself. I'm just agreeing with you. Yep.
Bro, video looking at the fourth quarter under. I don't want to. Our unders are so golden right now that I just kind of want to just sit back and the live total is now at 34.5. So we've never, not for 1 second in this game, has the live total been more than what it at kickoff was 49.5. I think it maybe even be 48.5. Maybe it went up. No, I take that back. There was a 50.5 at one point. But this has just been everything that we wanted in our unders from the get-go.
I need a pick six. Oh, big sack. Big sack.
Yeah, this is I get it. Smooth wanting us to talk NFL. I'm about to be 23-4 on the season.
Ooh, Jimmy.
It's fucking crazy. Like it's just nuts. It's just nuts. So yeah, I'm not.
This is kind of like Super Bowl 2019 when the Pats won 13-3. Remember?
No, I had pneumonia, Pete.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was fucked up. I couldn't come party with you guys at the. That hurt because Gogster won the prize, and I was sick as fuck. So no, that was a horrible. And then I remember that Super Bowl too because that was the Niners Super Bowl. No, that's a different one. But yeah, it was awful Super Bowl while you guys were at the penthouse in Hocko Beach.
You talking about the Ravens?
No, the 13-3. The 13-3.
Super boring one. You remember? And it was Brady again.
Yeah.
Super low scoring game, and did not get high scoring in the second half.
No, I think that we are going to be able to abuse these opportunities with Tom. When he's behind, he's going to air it out. When he's ahead, he's just, going to walk so casually up to the line of scrimmage.
Right. Yeah.
Razor sharp picks in the house. Speaking of which, next Sunday night game, Chicago Bears at Green Bay Packers will be starring razor sharp picks. We'll need to. I think we got to get Clint to make another halftime appearance. I think that would add a lot of fun. I think that would add a lot of fun. It works for you because you can get the kids down, right? You get your daughter down and then have everybody asleep, and then come.
Well, not quite. Not quite. It's not late enough yet for everybody to be asleep, but close enough. The wife can take over, so my girl can get down there. No big deal. We should have had me and Razor on for an afternoon show today. That would have been far more entertaining. That's what we should have done.
Oh, Razor will be back. I know he's saying relax. There's Jacksonville Zoe in the house. I believe he's coming to us from Vegas, right? Jacksonville Zoe's in Vegas.
Oh, he's out in Vegas, huh?
He went out. Yeah, he went out. This is the weekend where you want to be there. This is
week one's fun out there.
I mean,
this week was madness.
Oh, it was wild that first. But for me, Ragu, I'm with you. Like, I focus my life more around the horses than anything else. So Breeders' Cup would be the time.
Yeah, Breeders' Cup's a lot of fun out there. That's fun. I used to sneak down to the Bahamas for the first week of NFL when the bookies weren't they've always been available, but it was nice to walk around with like a little a stack in your hand, just and getting paid out at the same time without having to go to Vegas because it was like a little 90-minute journey to the Nassau from where I live.
Oh, that's dope. That sounds real nice.
Yeah, but they don't treat you too good down in the Bahamas, man. They don't like Americans down there.
No, I get that. Pete, how was your trip to Vegas?
Very, very interesting and funny. It was fine. I got COVID at the very end, so I didn't get to meet up with all the guys. So yeah, I got COVID. But yeah, I haven't been to Vegas, and I don't think I've ever been to Vegas when I wasn't working. So it was, it was good and funny and interesting. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I need to get out to Vegas for another fight night. That's the move.
Oh, I haven't been to Vegas now in way too long. I haven't been to Vegas since our last IFPC. It's fucking crazy.
It was funny, like in 2019, I was talking to Fat Fist Nick, and I was asking him about Julian Erosa. All right, you know who he is,
Juicy J.
So, anyways, I was in line, and this is, I guess, I didn't notice at the time the Super Bowl was going on. There's a big UFC event. There's always a big time UFC event in Vegas when the Super Bowl is going on. So there's this guy in front of me, and he's making a bet on UFC, and I'm trying to tell him who to bet. And I don't know, I don't know a whole lot about it, but it was a big fight. So I said, hey man, I really like this guy. And I says, well, you put a lot of money down on that. I says, you know anything about UFC? And he turns around and he says, yeah. He says, I just got off of I'm going to have my first pro fight. He was telling me about it. And it was Julian Erosa.
Oh, no way.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I don't know if you can see it. Here's the pick.
Oh, that's freaking cool.
Well, here, let me here, just hold that up for a second. Let me get you on the solo. Oh, it's dope, man.
That is super cool.
That was Super Bowl weekend in 2019. That was a little while ago, though. But yeah, he was a good guy, man. So he follows me on Twitter. I follow him back.
Nick said not to bet him. That's
yeah. I don't know what he did. I know he's a big underdog last night, but he's a free swinger, from what I understand. Like he goes down fighting. He's either going to get knocked out or he's going to knock you out.
Oh, long bomb.
Ooh.
Oh, you got to come up with that.
I don't know. That was very tough.
No, for me though, Jimmy. Not, it was a hard catch to make. He needs to come up with it for me.
Oh my! The live total is now at 33.5.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Smooth. I'm counting cash. I know it's boring. Fuck. Come on.
There's not a lot of opportunities right here to make. I mean, you can go back and look at some of the short odds price stuff on totals and stuff like that, but first touchdown maybe. I mean, what are you going to do with the game?
I should have moved on the Bucks at 2.5, but when I tell you guys I'm 23-4, doesn't it sound like I'm a tout who's like about to sell you his package, right? It doesn't sound real. 23-4. You fucking kidding me?
It happens, man.
That's usually all it takes for people to start advertising, Jimmy. Come DM me. Max Whale bet of the week on Saturday.
23-4 is, well, I shouldn't count it. 22-4, but I feel like the under 51 is nice.
Yeah, it's tough, man. These Sunday night games are so rough, man, because if you bet the under, you don't need to put your money anywhere else. You're golden. Like, why risk giving any of that back? And if you bet other stuff that isn't happening, like, all you can do is pray. Don't chase it now. The under's gone. It's gone. The only thing that might happen now is maybe an over. It's so rough to
put the
try
money
to
in
dig
your
yourself
pocket.
out of a spot right now.
Yeah, and usually I'd be. I also think that's another interesting thing about these live streams is that it's going to be the first half where I'd be surprised to make too many bets in the second half of games, because the first half's where you have the time to really find an edge. Come second half, everything tightens up,
If our Bucks can get this thing in the end zone, that second half plus 1.5 is looking pretty sweet.
Good.
Also,
very good. Yeah, that's the only thing that beats me up is that that 2.5. I never bet it. I'm using it in the contest, and I never bet it.
The contests drive me nuts, Jimmy. You know how many times I do that where I'll pick a spot that's either perfect for a bet or perfect for the contest, but I don't do the other one with it. Like, it's either one or the other. I don't do both.
Right.
And then it's just pain.
Yeah, the Eagles. I used the Eagles in the contest. And I didn't bet it. I was never going to bet it. It was that, that's my problem. My problem's always been in contests when they lock in the line and they lock in the line -4 and it goes to -6 or -6.5. And you're like, oh, I've got 2.5 points of value. I'd love to know what my ROI is on those, and I bet you it's negative. But I'm always like, I always like move a play that I want to make aside because I'm like, oh, you have 2.5 points of value. If you did this 100 times, you'd hit 55% or whatever because of the value that you just got. And that fucks me every time. It hurts me every time.
You think you're getting something for nothing, right?
Yeah. Live total sitting at 34.5. The Bucks at -11.5. And he's just sitting back and counting cash. Well, while we do that, let's talk more NFL. Let's go more to this week. Too.
I was just going to say, can I pick the next NFL topic?
Yes.
Vegas. What do you guys think of this team? Another team that I'm not exactly sure what I think about. I mean, I'm definitely down on them in general for the year. In the promo that I was in, I couldn't decide between them and the Chargers, and I wound up that was one of my losses. I took Vegas plus 3.5 for that promo just because I figured like as the season progresses, they're probably going to get worse and worse and worse. But this is going to be, early in the season is probably when they might have some better performances. It's what's your take on Carr and Vegas? Anyone in the comment section, anyone on camera, help me figure out what to think about Vegas next week and in the next few weeks after that.
I think for week 1, there was a ton of sharp money on Vegas.
Was there?
Yeah, it was basically like 50-50 ticket. Well, why don't I say basically? Why don't I pull it up exactly? 128,000. It came back a bit, but 128,416 tickets when it was all said and done. 51% of the tickets on the Raiders, but 62% of the cash. Okay. When I was studying the game, it was at 70% of the cash was on the Raiders, and that gave me pause. And then everybody was on the over, and I mean, obviously, like I didn't take the under or anything like that, but I was certain that there was a vividness bias in effect with everybody wanting the over with these two teams. And another thing I thought about was, obviously I didn't take it to the level where you're going to get paid with it, but the Chargers defense, and I don't believe in Staley. I mean, obviously he's just the head coach, not defensive coordinator or nothing, but I don't believe in him. But the personnel of the Chargers defense, they had to be better this year. They just had to be better in every. Oh wow! The Bucks are down to the 5.
Let's go.
So I have future bets on the Chargers to win the division, to win the conference, and to win the Super Bowl. I only made future bets on 2 teams, and obviously one looks terrible because it's 49ers, and one is the Chargers. I don't know what to do with Vegas. I need to study that game more. Just looking purely at the stats. I mean, Carr throws 3 picks. The big thing for me was, we thought that their defense would improve with Chandler Jones joining Max Crosby, but it's all Max Crosby. I mean, it's a Max Crosby show every game for them.
Bucks. Evans.
First touchdown of the game, man. Is that how long we had to wait for a fucking touchdown?
Yep.
Great call on all you guys who moved on the Bucks.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas, they do have some good weapons on offense, but I don't like the coach or the program, and it's hard to get a read on Carr. Good wide receivers, though, obviously.
Yeah, we got Daniels. McDaniels, I mean, he's going to run the offense, right? I mean, is he doing the play calling, or is he actually got an OC that's actually making the play calls for them?
Oh, wow. Stella Girl just hit Evans' first TD prop.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
So I was going to say, that was the only thing I was looking at. I was trying to figure out who was going to score the first TD. That was the only thing that appealed to me other than the under that we're already on, because anything of value, or not value, but, it's all a effing guess anyways, regardless. But still, you got to go to logical because there's no Gronk no more. Evans is going to carry the load, I think, mostly. Godwin's hurt. So it made sense, either him or Fournette.
Well, tomorrow night, I think that under 44 is the bet. Let's take a look at the cash flow on that one. It's Monday. So At this point, there's 107,000 tickets in, and 19% of the tickets and 47% of the cash is on Seattle Seahawks. Ragu,
Why?
what do you make of that?
What's that? The percentage?
The huge big bets are coming in on the Seahawks. And my friend Pavone, who really studies, he only really studies the market. He knows the game and the players and all that stuff, but he really studies market. He's like, he said, I got to get spicy and bet the Seahawks.
Yeah. Well,
What do you think of the big bets coming in on the Seahawks?
I'm thinking that they don't think Russell's going to cook, number one, because if they did, the sharps wouldn't be that way. And I'm just thinking there's going to be a feeling out process for the offense. Seattle's defense, however good it was, they're not going to. They're not. The 12th man is going to be big. The Seattle's defense is going to be able to kind of maybe keep Russell in check, because who knows Russell better than Seattle? You know what I mean? So I don't think he's got. I'm going to say he's got equal weapons. I would say more weapons, because Seattle had a pretty good running game. It's just the offensive line was horrible. It's always been. So going forward, I think for this particular game, I just think that they're going to be able to keep Russell in check. And they think the number's too strong. That's the way I think it is. That's the way, looking from the outside in, without having all the inside information per se. Just reading through between the lines, I'm just saying it's Russell versus the Seattle defense, and the sharps are going to bet Seattle's defense.
74% of the tickets are on the over. Now, just 60% of the cash. So big bets are coming in on the under, but.
Yeah.
Who looks at this matchup and thinks points are going to be scored?
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. I mean, it's not a big number, but still, I mean, it's a primetime game. Usually those games kind of lean under to start with, anyways. So for the most part, I don't know. I don't see a lot of points in that game. I really don't. I don't see this type of game, but I see a little bit of back and forth. But I just see a different kind of pace, and maybe I could see, like a 21-17 or 23-20, something like that.
Pete, what are you thinking here when you see tickets on the over and big bets coming in on the Seahawks?
I'm not sure. I haven't. I mean, that game is such a weird situation that I haven't looked into it too deeply. I'm actually reading a lot of great comments that are helping me out. Trying to figure out Vegas and the Arizona game. But yeah, tomorrow, if you guys like the under, that's all I really need to know. It's a weird game.
It is.
I'm not sure. I don't need to contest, so I haven't looked into it too deep.
74% of tickets on the over, 60% cash on the over, and it drops a half point.
Reverse line move.
Yeah, who looks at this game and thinks? What do you think, Clint, about the Monday Nighter and Geno?
I think I've got a whole lot of the Broncos in fantasy football, so I really need them to ball out, and I hope there's points. But I honestly don't know, man. It's a tough situation because these are two teams that I have not spent a whole lot of time studying just yet, and I don't have a good feel, or at least I didn't have a good feel for the Broncos just generally speaking the last couple of years. So with Russ, it's a big question mark for me. Were the Seahawks really holding him back? Is he just not that good? Will the Broncos get that kind of elite pop that they're looking for once they get, a supposedly elite level quarterback? Is he past his prime? Lots of questions. I think it's a clear Broncos spot. I think the Seahawks are kind of limping at the moment, but they still have a very old school mentality, an old fashioned coach. So you feel like they probably want to ground and pound it, grind the clock out, keep it a low scoring battle. It's going to be kind of a tug of war. You know what I mean? Who can pull off their game plan? If Broncos let Russ cook, I could see them blowing it open and this thing going over. But at the same time, I don't know if the Seattle Seahawks have the kind of offense that can keep pace with them. I could see a lopsided, Broncos score a lot, Seahawks don't score much, and it stays under type of game.
Coin says, does Seattle have the public dog field tomorrow with the dog success today? The dog success today was all sharps. The public got destroyed. If you're in a NFL pool, my NFL, I lost on the Rams on Thursday in my pools. I didn't bet the Rams, but I lost my pools, and then I went 9-1, and I haven't looked since. I'm 9-2. But in when I was doing it, there was all these bets I was making where I was, because I talked to my mom about, because we're in the same pools, and I was like, this isn't. I don't have the balls to bet it, but I'm gonna trust the sharp money here. I'm gonna trust the sharp money. I kept saying that, and that cashed. So it wasn't. Public dogs are still going to be fucking losers. I think we should stick with we've seen in NFL. When there's a big public dog that public loves, we should fade that. And I think that was sort of done in the Chiefs-Cardinals game to me. Pete, we have so it's 19-3. I'm sorry we're not talking about the game much, but we're talking more about gambling ideology, because nobody here is coming close to losing a bet on this game. Like, we just completely have crushed this whole game, and we're just counting cash. And
I need a pick six.
Okay, Clint needs a pick six. But Pete, our guy Frank O in the house says, Pete, what have you bet for baseball tomorrow already? It's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Franco. I haven't bet anything yet because I'm not going to actually pull the trigger on any of this until after this live stream. But definitely interesting that Strider is going for Atlanta. Cobb can be tricky at home. He can be a good starter at home. So I'm thinking about Atlanta, but Atlanta is the real deal in Strider. So I haven't bet it yet. I mean, the first 5 team totals aren't out yet, but I'll be looking pretty heavily at San Francisco first 5 team total under, even though it'll be 1.5. Probably Atlanta first 5, although that's not out yet. It is Mike Minor Day in Cincinnati, but Mike Minor, I've been cashing day in and week in and week out, fading him all year long. But recently he's pitched better, and I've had a bunch of consecutive losses fading Minor recently, so that's okay. Now he's at home against Pittsburgh, so I'm not sure what to make about that, but it's definitely not an auto fade of Minor anymore. And
I've been cashing Minor unders, Pete. I've been cashing Minor unders. The Sharps have been all over him for at least his last 2 starts. I want to say 3 starts, and they've been nice. And he's regressing. It's positive regression. Like I like Minor. I like Minor a lot right now. But now my fear would be, okay, we've got our cash off of him, kind of a thing. But Minor's been nice.
Yeah,
Part here.
Yeah, people are like, you seem like a sharp. Are you a sharp? And I'm like, no, just watch me on camera for a while, then you'll see like the indications of why I'm actually not. Yeah, no, I am not I was not one of those sharps who anticipated the Minor regression, although I did bet or progression. I did bet size appropriately, but yeah, he surprised me, took me by surprise. So he's starting tomorrow. I wonder how they knew. I'll have to go over start by start and see what those situations were, but I wonder if there was some kind of like analytics that had flipped for him, Jimmy. You're just saying the numbers that you look at.
Well, no, because we've had guys on our shows talk about the left-handed batters, right-handed batters situation, because he's got very poor splits in that regard. But I have always believed in him. And when he got off to that 6.5 ERA or 7 ERA, I was like, let's just wait a minute.
Right.
And then when I saw the Sharps all over him for the last few starts, I've been the fear I have, I've already said this a couple times on the show. What's been really working for me in baseball is when I'm too afraid, I don't have the balls to bet the dog. I see the Sharps on the dog. I just take the first 5 under because I know that the dog is going to shut down the other team's offense.
Right.
I know that you don't want the pressure of this, but we love this. I'll pull it now, but we love it. We love it. Your birthday picks are very impressive.
I really haven't made a bet on MLB tomorrow yet. Then you got Reed Detmers, who is kind of under the radar guy who, he threw a no-hitter, of course, and then he has his starts where he gives up a bunch of runs. But in general, I'm looking more often than not at him having a good start, and Cleveland can be definitely held down, of course. So, maybe the Angels' first 5 there as a small dog, or the Guardians' first 5 team total under, which should be 2.5. I might be thinking about those. Houston is a huge. I have Houston tonight, big, and I don't know about that though. Going into Detroit, that's a tough one as a huge favorite. Texas Marlins, that's a weird game. So not a lot of offerings. And then Arizona coming back from I had Arizona as well. Gallen's shutout streak is over, but he still cashed the first 5. So that was a big play for me as well, Arizona. But now they're coming back, and the Dodgers, after the San Diego series, going on the road as a massive favorite. So that's a weird spot. I don't know, man. It's all weird spots. Maybe I'll just blindly say take Arizona in the NFL next week, either first half team total over or full game team total over. They should be able to put up points on Vegas, right? 24 full game, maybe like 13 first half, something like that. What do you guys think about that? Arizona should be able to move the ball at least next week on Vegas, because before Kyler Murray gets hurt, he's a dynamic playmaker, isn't he?
I think it's a great call. I think if we're looking at, trying to focus on overreactions, that's a perfect one.
Yeah.
I mean, when he gets banged up, fade and forget about it. But
Definitely.
Before that happens, you can put up points against vulnerable defenses, which I think, are the Cowboys gonna? Are the Raiders gonna make?
In all honesty, I'm gonna have to go over that Chargers game closer, but I think holding the Chargers to 24 is impressive. I think the Raiders defense will be stronger this year, in their offense. Everybody overdoing the Devontae pickup. I wonder if that under 51.5 is a really good look. I certainly think that the Cardinals will be more than plus 3.5. What do you think, Ragu? You think the Cardinals are at the Raiders next week? It's 3.5 to open. I think the Raiders will take money. I think the overreaction will be to bet the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders, they played a lot better in the second half in that game, if you go back and look at it. And I think they did. They started out real slow. I mean, we've seen a lot of that today, but we haven't seen a lot of teams make the adjustments. We've seen a lot of second half changes, like in the Giants game and, others like that. But some of these other games here have been like real slow and teams have come back. And I think the Raiders did play a lot better in the second half in that game. So maybe they figured something out, made some adjustments, and moved on that particular spot. It wasn't enough to win the game, obviously, but I don't think they played that bad in the second half. So, and then like to Pete's point, Arizona with Murray, he's going to get off quickly, and I don't know what the situation is going to be for J.J. Watt next week. And I know they're a little dinged up on defense, so maybe look to maybe might be a good over spot, a full game over.
Yeah, Jared.
Like a Cardinals first half.
What'd you say?
What about like a Cardinals first half?
Yeah, they're plus 3.5.
Because they got embarrassed. You know what I mean? They're going to come out the gates firing next week.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. First half over, maybe a Cardinals first half team total over, something like that.
Yeah. I like Jimmy's theory. Wait, and then probably the number goes up, and then you get a better number on a plus side for Arizona.
I'm very interested with week 2 because the overreactions that we're seeing, the public got destroyed today. And I wonder if that will change the overreactions a little bit, because you need to take advantage when the public succeeds because they get confidence. And here the public got kicked in the teeth. I find it so, and it's not always going to work out this way. But there was 5 teams that were like, dogs that were getting a ton of love in the market. And they all covered.
Yeah.
And that's the Falcons, the Bears, the Lions, the Texans, and the Giants.
The Giants.
I mean,
There you go, Dennis Garcia. I already bet Arizona.
Yeah.
And the over.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it goes over. It's 51.5.
Yeah. I mean, I can't give a birthday pick that I haven't actually bet myself.
It's a good
I
number.
might give you a casual happy birthday recommendation. Let's put it that way. Arizona, team total over. Should be about 24.
Wow.
Makes sense, right?
Yep.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is not trust myself. That's what's been working. So I didn't keep. I'm not. I think I would prefer just not to give any of my gut thought, because my gut told me the Cardinals. That was just way too many points. That was my gut told me the Cardinals at home, and I used it in the contest. My only mistakes in the contest were my gut and the market, because if I work with everybody and study the market and spend days on it, I'm just like destroying everything right now.
You know, it might be another spot that people are going to look at. The Houston Texans and the Broncos. Broncos are a 10.5 point favorite. Houston Texans surprised everybody, looked pretty damn good this week. Broncos on a short week. That number might be short.
That's interesting. I can't wait to study the Texans this week. That's going to be so much fun. I think that's another thing that for me is that I have so much fun now in a different way than I expected. And I don't mean to make this sound negative. Like, I love being in a family and I love being a dad and all that, but getting to get away is wonderful. And sit alone and just study and just be alone for a minute. It's about as good as life gets right now. So, I think that the study helps, and not trusting my gut. I've got a good game plan here. I knew it, Ragu. I could feel you respecting me not betting Saturday this week.
Oh yeah.
Do you know, Pete? I don't know if you know this. I started out the year in college football. I lost my first 3 games, and I didn't bet week 0. It was week 1. It was the Thursday of week 1. I was 0-3. Now it looked like I was going to go 0-4, and I got a lucky win at the end of the night. I can't remember exactly the situation. Go 1-3. Since then, I've hit 10 straight in college football. I'm 10-3, and so I was like, no, I'm not going to bet Saturday. I'm not going to go sit like I'm going to just. No, I'm just going to keep only betting games where we cap them with the chat and with somebody on screen. It cuts my quantity down, and then I'm not,
Yeah, absolutely. Rest and biting off more, but not biting off more than you can chew are 2 fundamental pillars of doing anything well in life, and especially handicapping. Yeah.
It's funny, Pete, because I've had a lot of flashbacks of our time in Costa Rica together, and the flashbacks are almost all like the mistakes I was making.
Mm-hmm.
The mistakes, and you never made me feel inadequate, and you were so kind to me, but I was making so many mistakes, and so and we all these, we had people watching us, and it was mistake after mistake after mistake, and I legitimately feel guilty for the way, because it's ignorance. It's fucking ignorance when you believe you're a successful gambler or a successful handicapper, and you're between 20 and 35. I'm not saying that you're not. I just don't know if you have the experience necessary to really be a good handicapper. Because I went down to Costa Rica thinking I was a really good handicapper. I also thought I was a good baseball capper. And that year, Pete, I got just annihilated. Publicly embarrassed. It was tough, man. It was tough to come to work in the morning, and it was tough to sleep at night.
Yeah, I don't remember you make. I mean, you had some bad runs, as we all do, but I don't remember you making too many mistakes. I mean, all the mistakes that I always warn people against are mistakes, traps that we can all fall into and have to be, vigilant about, reminding ourselves, remembering, what not to do. But yeah, I don't remember. You had some bad runs. So did I. So did we all. But I don't remember you making too many mistakes in Costa Rica necessarily.
I just think I wasn't aware of enough. You know, I was so confident in my skill set that I didn't give a fuck about the market or I didn't care about any of that stuff. And that was ignorance, I think. And my quantity of action just skyrocketed. Like, I know there's going to be good years and bad years and things like that. But I know, like, the mistakes I was ignorant. I was just a dumb fucking, just a cocky guy that I could cap every day publicly. And it's very, very difficult. You know,
Don't
Clint,
beat yourself up about it. It's just a learning.
yeah.
That's me this year, Jimmy.
Well,
I
I'm
but,
mean,
just a dumb fucking guy that thinks.
but Clint, I mean, you know how it ebbs and flows, and you've had monster years in front of everybody, and like I follow you, and another thing that I do is like Preston does the YouTube page, but I also do a bunch of stuff just for the sports, not for the fight videos. The fight videos I do nothing for. I don't do not one thing for, but for like all of the baseball and videos and all that stuff, I kind of help and I work on and help stuff. But I read because we get all the porn spam in our comments. I go into the comments every day and delete the porn spam. But while I'm deleting,
I thought you were going to say you got easily distracted.
No, fuck no. I don't know. I'm pretty dead inside now at 42, but I go over all of the comments all the time. So I kind of, and I love the way you cap. I love the way you answer the comments, and I love you also when people throw negativity at you, you show you don't seem susceptible to that at all. You just, you always react in a positive manner. I've learned a lot from how you've handled comments and all that stuff, and I've watched you succeed. We all have, and you wouldn't be in the situation you're in if you didn't have a lot of success in your past. This shit just ebbs and flows, That's all.
Yeah. When you make mistakes or you choose to learn a lesson at the wrong time, you just get buried doing this shit. And that's been me this whole year, Jimmy. I have learned. I've made some serious mistakes this year betting, and hopefully I've learned my lesson from dealing with them. But I've looked back over my stuff, and there also has been a large amount of variance involved, which people that don't understand sports betting think that that's an excuse, and they hate that term. But people that bet a lot know that that's a real thing. And it's like this year, I would still be down. I would not be down nearly as bad as I am if some of those breaks went my way. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's a battle. It's a fucking battle. Randy says I got to go back and get Spidey. The one thing that messed my life up was that when I went down to Costa Rica, my quality of life skyrocketed. And that messed my life up enormously. And when I came back to Toronto, the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden I could go nowhere except a 1-bedroom apartment with my family, and stuck in this like real tough neighborhood with ton of mental health and crack issues, and the apartment was pretty fucking gross. Like, it was just like, and that's never been a problem. Like, struggling is not a problem, but when you've got a taste of success, that is when it becomes more difficult. And like, I think the reason why I was a stand-up comic for as long as I was because 2002 to 2005 were big years for me. Big years. I got my first real big movie in 2003. In 2004, I had 2 different TV series, and I went from set to set. It was The Mountain and The L Word. The Mountain got canceled after the first season, and The L Word, I lost my job because of Blake Lively's brother got fired from our show, and he was my best friend in the series. And when they called me in, I thought we thought maybe there was a raise or something. They're like, we have bad news. We fired Eric. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I lost those jobs. And then I booked Final Destination 3, and that was 6-figure job. And then
Damn.
2006, I made 10% of what I made in 2005. And those 3 years, I wasn't paying taxes. I couldn't have given a fuck about taxes. I was making all this money. I was eating ribs every night. And then things, because I couldn't pay my taxes after making 10% in 06, they shut my bank account down. And then the spiral happened. You have no bank account. You're fucking cashing checks at the fucking, fucking Paymarts, whatever. And things just start falling apart fast, but then I kept thinking, I know what it's like to succeed. I know what it's like to win at this. And that kept me in the game way longer than I should have been in the game, because I was not succeeding for fucking, 15 years. The best thing that ever happened to me was that first IFBC conference in Costa Rica, because they asked me to host it 48 hours before the conference started. And that's like a $5,000 gig in my business. But I was like, I'll host it. I'll show them what I can do. But then I made the deal. I'll only host it if I can do the Peter Loshak show in the morning. That was my deal. I didn't say I want 1 cent. I said, I'll do it if I can do the Peter Loshak show in the morning. And, having that opportunity to show people, because remember, Pete, there were open bars every night, right? Open bars every night.
In Costa Rica?
Yeah, IFBC in Costa Rica.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I went down to Costa Rica, because in New York, even if you have an open bar, you still have to tip, right? But there's no tipping in Costa Rica, and the alcohol is also cheap that it just felt like the entire country was one big open bar. You know what I mean? Because there's no tipping, and the drinks are so cheap.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was I just trying to take advantage of opportunities, and I knew that I was, struggling as a stand-up at that point, because in stand-up you succeed if your name on the bill fills the room.
Yeah,
because then you can get the door deal. If your name on the bill doesn't fill the room, then you need the room to be filled for you to succeed on stage. And so if you don't, so I was making a set amount of money in the clubs, and that, I'll tell you what it was. I got $250 a night in the clubs. You get a lot more on if you're doing like a non-traditional comedy setting, but in the clubs, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, whatever. But then stand-up started struggling, and then there was like 1 show Friday, 2 shows Saturday, because when I started, there was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it started getting cut. And then when the pandemic hit, my heart went out to all the comics. I was like, how the fuck is anybody making any money? I don't know. I digress.
No, the whole comedy world, it's like I think of jokes as like stuff you do like with your friends when you're hanging out to have a good time. But when you have to commodify it and it becomes like something you need to rely on to not be homeless, that's got to fuck with your head so much. You know what I mean?
That doesn't. I'll tell you what does is you go play a club, like for me, I started headlining it like at 23 because I booked this fucking terrible Nick Cannon movie. But at 24, Final Destination 3 came out, and my friends and the club owners kind of helped promote it. They got me headlining. And so you headline a club, and your fucking guns are blazing. It's the only thing that you think about in the whole world. You crush those shows. You care so much about those shows. You destroy the weekend, and it's magic. And then 8 months later, well, usually it can be 6. Between 6 and 9 months later, they want you to come back, right? But you can't come back with the exact same fucking set. So let's say you come back and you use 35 minutes of your 45, 50 of old stuff, and they're like, okay, at least there was 5 or 10 minutes new, and we love them. So you come back 7 or 8 months later. Well, do you have like the creating new material is what was the toughest thing. It was you had to create such an amount of new. Your first hour, you finally get an hour. You're like, fuck, man. When I had my first big closer, I was like, fuck, man. I used my closer for like way too long. I used my closer for 2 years, and then it was like, are you going to give us something fucking new this time you come through? I would have owners of clubs be like, oh, I'm out. They at a party be like, I could come in and check your show out. Do you have any? Are you just doing the same old shit? You know, and like that. That was the toughest. That started weighing on me, and then I had because I don't like observational. That's not I don't like. I don't do observational material, or I didn't when I was a comic. Respect Seinfeld, and that's great, but that stuff doesn't do it for me. I want to be taken somewhere that I can't go, you know. And so I had a tough time coming up with new material. Really tough time. That was it.
Crazy world.
I need you to hook me up, Jimmy. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to be an extra and die in a movie. I don't care how low budget it is. I don't care what movie it is. I want to get eaten by a shark or something. So I can.
Jose was supposed to be doing a movie.
Say what?
Once you guys talk about doing a movie back in the when we had the San Antonio trip.
Yeah,
it was all jokes and shit. But I said, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Little low budget flick, about maybe 45 minutes or something like that.
I got to die in a couple movies. It is good.
So
DX Filer asking about it, and you asked about it. It's dope. It's fun.
That's all I want. I just want one movie where I can put it on and be like, check it out. I died.
I died in Final Destination 3. It was a great death. It's a fucking it's a what is it like a it's a drive-through and the truck comes flying down and it's implausible, but the truck behind I'm in a convertible truck behind me kind of gets squished and the engine pops out and the fan blade chops off the back of my head.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go watch that now. That sounds
when I go to YouTube about that death, because I'm Frankie Cheeks in that movie, there's one thing that has like 400,000 views of just my death scene. It's like in German or some shit of just a death scene. I had another death scene in like a unwatchable movie, Decoy's Rebirth. It was unfucking watchable. And the girl, I've told this story before on my show. The girl is very hot. This hot chick I was doing. It was like a makeup. The whole storyline was that the aliens needed to propagate their species by fucking young college kids, you know,
specifically college kids.
Yeah. And so I had this like hot blonde that I was working with, hanging out with, but I knew her, and I knew a couple dudes that she'd been with, and I didn't like those dudes, and I didn't like her, and I didn't want her to arouse me at all. That was the whole plan. So I would jerk off like 3 or 4 times before I would get to set, just to make sure I was so dead inside, just as dead as could be. And then we would make out, and I keep saying nothing's happening down here. And I would look at the crew and be like, she's doing nothing for me. Do you guys see this? There is nothing. And she hated me so much. She fucking hated me.
That sounds like Heard That Scene, Jimmy, not yours. That was Heard That Scene.
Oh yeah. I never thought of that. But oh man, every time we'd make out and all that stuff, and I'd be like, I don't feel a thing with this woman. Oh fuck. So I just tried to get in her fucking head, and I did. I did get in her fucking head.
Good.
Yeah. That was, speaking of which, we talked. I know the game. We're all just making money off this game. We're not talking about it, but that was the 2000. That was the only thing I booked in 2006. After the 2005 of Final Destination 3 was Decoy's Rebirth. It paid about $10K, and that was the only thing I booked all year. And I was just like totally fucked. Like I was just, my financial situation fell apart. Completely fell apart at that point. So
Jimmy, I don't know. You need to sell that clip as like a script to it. I'm imagining like a How I Met Your Mother-esque sitcom, and it becoming a running gag that you feel nothing when this hot chick kisses you, and you've got like 2 or 3 bros on the sidelines that like freak out every time you show that you're not popping a chub or something. Like nothing, and the boys are like, ah.
It was also, we shot it in Edmonton at University of Alberta, and it was freezing cold. It was like minus 35, and it was like a low budget film. So all the women, they weren't like in leg warm, they in little skirt stuff. And this is so horrible. This is like what film and TV is really like. So it's a low budget thing. They had to shoot the movie in 17 days, and the women weren't given leg warmers or anything. They're in their little skirts and whatever. And so they all got nosebleeds. They were all shivering in the cold with nosebleeds. and I'm like still screaming, she's not doing anything for me. What a terrible, terrible situation. What a sad world.
She is freezing. She has a nosebleed. She's acting her ass off, and on repeat, the man just continues to insult her personal dignity.
Yeah.
That you cannot turn me on.
So awful.
She's still taking therapy for this somewhere, Jimmy.
I hope so. I fucking hope so. No compassion for this person. None. Zilch. 6 minutes and 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Has anybody lost a bet on this game?
Well, I took a second half over. I mean, that's not a real loss because I'll win overall on the total. But yeah, you were right. It was not like a sluggish game, and then they come out in the second half. It was just, more of the same. Brady slowing it down. Dallas can't move. And I guess the fact that the total was so low, 23.5, was probably a strong indicator. I was thinking like maybe 24. Then I was like, maybe 24.5. 23.5 probably should have told me something,
It just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. But I do think this is important. We're not going to have much Tom Brady left to bet in his career. And the 11-day thing scared us. But anytime this guy has a lead, he just sits back and he relaxes. He lets you hurt yourself, So where are the Buccaneers next week? The Buccaneers are at the New Orleans Saints. You gave us a line. It's off the board here for me, Pete. What was the line you gave us for Buck Saints?
Did I give a line on that? I'm seeing small home dog for the Saints.
Small home dog. God, you got to bet that right away, or is that in the overreaction of the Saints against the Falcons? What do you think, Ragu? You live very close to these Buccaneers. What do you think of Buccaneers Saints?
I'd probably say usually they wind up splitting the series when they play. So what's the number on it?
Like I don't know, like 2.5.
It's another short, and is that in the Superdome or is that
in New Orleans? Yeah.
And Tampa's they got Tampa favored already.
Yeah.
Yeah, another short number. Another that's not a early game or a 4:00 game, 1:00.
Yeah, it's an early game. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably lean Tampa at this point in time. I think we'll see if Tampa's defense plays like they're playing tonight. And I know at New Orleans, even though they didn't play great, they still had some offensive production in that game. Winston wasn't terrible. I think I don't know what Thomas did. I got to go back and look at what Thomas did at Olave if he got involved. So just on the surface, I would probably say I have to lean Tampa.
I mean, I'm kind of high on the Saints this year, although I bet against them this week because I just don't really like Winston is that kind of a favorite. But as a dog, then maybe the next week after at Carolina, I'd be a dog there, right?
Winston.
What'd you say?
I said I'm gonna pick my spots with Winston. Yeah. I know they had a hard time figuring out Mariota early on because he was running all over the place. They didn't adjust to him very well early on in the game. So sometimes you just figure it's the first couple of series of downs, and then they're gonna make the adjustments. But I mean, I know they came back and they they won the game, which they should have lost. So that they got to feel good about that. But I don't know how good they feel about the performance against the Falcons defense. That is, I don't think they're that much improved on the defensive side. I know offensively, they try to make some moves over there, but they're still going to be the Falcons. They're still going to be a bottom team, but you're getting points at home. That was just another home team dog thing. And usually their games, believe it or not, if you go back and look, they're always like field goal type games, and on the finishes, Atlanta and New Orleans. They always seem to wind up that way for years. And Peyton, like I was telling Jimmy, Peyton's the OC's been there, I think 19 or 17 years, so they didn't lose nothing there on the offensive side. And I know Allen's calling the defensive plays.
The Saints always play well against the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, I was in Vegas. I think it was last year. I was in Vegas. They got shellacked. The Bucks got shellacked when they played them.
I mean, it's a small
funny how
sample.
that works?
In that game.
Mike Evans' numbers are terrible against them compared to everyone else. They just it's just variance, but Mike Evans is not good against them. That might be another teaser side there. The Saints up to 9.5 or 8.5.
It's funny how that works every single season. That's like even at the height of the Patriots' power, the Dolphins, the lowly Dolphins always gave them hell every single season, and it just does. It didn't make sense.
As long as they have a lot of the same personnel and players and that type of thing, I buy into that type of thing. But then if you go back and say what happened 20 years ago, don't mean what happened 2 years ago, obviously. But for the most part, if the same personnel, same coaching staff, like New Orleans, it's basically the same coaching staff. If you want to put things in perspective for them, I think there'll be some bet on spots for New Orleans. This might be one of them. I took them today. I thought they would come out, rejuvenated, and Winston, with the commitment, and I did say Hill, right? I said he'll get involved a little bit in the gimmick plays, and he wound up scoring a touchdown. So
81 yards on 4 carries.
Yeah.
Olave 3 catches for 41 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they're productive type numbers, not big numbers, but I mean, if you break them down, 10, 11 yards.
Jarvis Landry 7 catches, 114 yards, and Michael Thomas 2 touchdowns, 57 yards.
Yeah, I mean,
Steelers and Panthers. That might be a nice 3-team teaser right there.
Oof. Wow. I don't have any interest in the Panthers personally after what I saw today.
I hate
interest in the Giants after what you saw today. Are you kidding me?
No, not really particularly either of them.
Right. Go ahead.
I'm 23-4, and I can't believe I didn't pull the trigger on Washington. We talked all about moving on Washington, and I'm like, it's still like just fucking eating at me. Washington, and then what was the other one that just slipped through my fingers?
They tried to lose that one, Jimmy. Don't let that one eat at you too bad. Washington tried to give that game away.
Yeah. I told Jimmy this morning, I said, you got a 3 auto phase. The Bears, which they wound up beating 49ers, the Jags, and the Jets. Blindly fade them every week.
I don't know. I think the Bears – I think there's so many reasons why the Colts struggled. Although it's very important we don't overreact, but the Colts struggles and the Bears' success makes sense to me. Get Eberflus there, in Chicago, and get him out of Indianapolis. Isn't it nuts though that you would have a situation where the Frank Reich can't win Week 1 and like that stuff? Those storylines and gambling are so wildly interesting. It's just shocking. The Browns, those were the Washington and Cleveland. I was like basically on them in my breakdowns, and I was afraid to pull the trigger. One thing that does concern me was last year I had a really good Week 1, not like this, and then I struggled Week 2 to 4. So
I usually struggle early on. I'll be honest with you. Like I say, my go-to is once I get about 3 or 4 weeks of solid, information, numbers, the whole nine, and that's when I usually start to. Not that I'm going to lose every week, because if I could hold my own, like if I could teeter around 50%, 40, not get destroyed. If go like 2 and 3 or something like that. If you go 0 and 4, 0 and 5, and you're getting rocked, but if you can kind of, just kind of teeter around a little bit, and I'm gonna have the weeks where I'm gonna go like 9 and 1, 7 and 2.
Yeah, well, I've seen that.
They come. I've been doing this shit forever. I know what I do. I know how to. I know what. It's just a system I have for NFL. It's just that's why I don't go deep early on and just kind of take my time with it, and then usually I'll start firing pretty good after the 4th week.
Caleb Morrison saying fade Texas until the quarterback comes back.
Texas.
Fade, yeah, in college.
Oh, college. Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
what's his name's gone for 6 weeks.
Yeah, what's his name? The backup, Patty was his name, I think it was. He was hobbling around. That's why No, that was I'm thinking of the Pitt game. He got beat up. Slovis went down, and the kid came in, Patty, and he tried. They lost that game in overtime. That killed me. That game. It didn't kill me, but I lost two. I had 3 overtime games Saturday, and I lost. I won one and I lost 2, but I wound up losing 3 bets because I had Pittsburgh in the over, and they won. They lost by 7. I had 6.5, and then had over 62, and it landed on 61. And they got the coin flip and deferred. Now, who defers in overtime?
It's crazy.
A fucking moron.
It's all about momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys hobbled up, and your defense it's playing okay. You know, it had a little momentum to get you back in the game for overtime, but when you go to overtime, you want to score first, man. This way, if you don't get nothing, then all the other teams got to do is kick a field goal or something like that, and then they win. You know, but at least put points on the board in overtime. You're in field goal range to start.
Dennis is saying Jacksonville money line week 2. Jacksonville +4 right now at 45.5 total. Jacksonville +4. I know you know these Florida teams inside and out, Ragu. I'm so against this love for Jacksonville.
You know, that's another first year. I think we got like 11, new coaches in the league. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of shit to divulge and process, and just to, I mean, for me to come out and make a comment like, fade this, fade that, it's kind of moronic in a sense. But for the most part, prior years, that type of thing. But things are going to change now. Like you said, the Bears, you weigh that out, and look at Jacksonville, the effort they played against Washington today. So, there are going to be scenarios that we're going to have to be wait and see on. Just I'm not one to jump off a cliff with a certain team and just say, hey, back this or don't back that.
In saying that I don't trust Jacksonville, I certainly don't trust Matt Ryan and the Colts in this decision that's being made to move towards Matt Ryan, 5th quarterback in 5 years. I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
NFL, not for long.
Yeah. This is Skydragon says Jacksonville were inept last year, won like 2 games, still beat up on Indy. Michael Anderson says that death was pretty sweet. The death was good. Finally, I thought I had the best death. I was talking about like the years that followed that film and being so broke. When the Final Destination or whatever came out, the number 5, they showed my death in the credits, and it was just like about $2,000 when they did it, but it was the fucking summertime. I needed that money so fucking badly, and I'd switched agencies, and that money was just like, I don't know, in the ether or whatever. And I felt like such an asshole, like calling places up. I was like, where's my fucking money? Where's my cash for that shit? And I did end up getting it, but 6 months later, fucking 7 months later. What do you think of Colts Jaguars next week, Pete?
Colts Jags. I mean, I had a great NFL day today, just like you and everyone else. But at the beginning of the week, there were a few plays that I kind of liked. I felt pretty much lost about the rest of the card. That's how I feel right now. Colts Jags. I thought I was pretty high on the Jags, and I had them against Washington, and then Dennis Garcia wisely took me off of that. I'd have to be at first glance as we sit here on Sunday night. I'd have to be thinking, obviously, you take the Jags, right? Obviously.
I think that I want to fade the Jags every road game all year. At home might be a different story. It could be a fucking love-in for Doug Peterson and the boys. And
yeah, I mean, at some point, that you have to think that they're going to have great value at least a third of the time, after what happened last year. It's an up year for them. And they've got a quarterback who should make, I was expecting, and my assumption is just that the whole situation last year just messed them up, and you can basically throw out everything that happened last year for Lawrence.
That I think you're right. I think that probably makes sense, and then we should wait. Clint, what do you think of this spot, Colts Jags? Because I can't wait to watch this. What happens to this line with Jags +4? I imagine this game goes off with the Jags at +3 or 3.5. What do you think, Clint?
I think I'm the literal only person still sweating this football game because I still need that defensive touchdown, and we're backed up on the 10-yard line, Jimmy. No, so I was looking at that game, and you got to think the Colts are going to have a better showing than that, right? They're always having a rough first game of the season. That's the trend, right? Is that the Colts cannot win or cover week one. They're a bit of a slow starter. So I would expect to see a slightly better effort from the Colts in week two. And the Jags, as much as everyone is in love with them and has hope, I feel like they're almost kind of like the Browns this year. There are going to be spots where I think they show up and they do well and they cover, maybe even get an outright win. But I don't know. It's not going to be like a blindly bet them every week type of situation. And yeah, the Jags got to win over the Colts. Final game of the season last year when nobody cared, nothing was on the line. Actually, never mind. It wasn't that the game the Colts got knocked out of the playoffs because they gave up. Never mind. There was a lot on the line. No.
Yeah, they failed.
Scratch that. Caught myself mid breakdown. There was a lot on the line. So yeah, I mean, they went 1-1 with them last year. They were both tight, competitive games, but I still feel like the Colts are just the better team. I don't know that I would trust them to lay it, but at the same time, I don't really want to back the Jags.
You know,
that's a sketchy game for me.
Here's a comment. I forgot someone. I can't remember who his name was, but he says Jags have a bottom 4 defense. I had them rated as more like bottom 10 or bottom 8. But if they're really bottom 4, maybe an over 45.5. Not bad. What do you think? Over 45.5. What do you think?
I'm stuck on a different game here, Pete. I can't. I'm very close
45.5, huh?
Pulling the trigger on my first.
I don't mind that.
Jags.
Somebody's going to win a game in that division, right? Because Tennessee lost, they tied, and Jacksonville lost. So somebody's going to get a W in that division next week. Somebody's going to be in first place, other than with a half a point of a tie. So we know
that set that up too. Colts Jags. I'm gonna limp in right now with.
The weather's looks like it's gonna be really nice next weekend on the eastern seaboard. I don't give the western's always nice, but on the eastern seaboard, it looks like it's gonna be really nice. And I wonder if that should hesitate me moving on the under 41.5 in New York Jets, Cleveland Browns. I need to bet the under in anything the Jets are involved in. Need to, must. Now, if you're 6.5 point dogs and the total is 41.5, you can't bet a team total under. This is too low. But that one is looking. Can you believe it's 19-3 right now? The Cowboys put up 3 points. My highest ROI in my life is betting against the Cowboys. Years and years of it. The only equivalent would be betting against England in soccer. Not even looking. If they're playing any fucking, they're playing Argentina in the World Cup, you know what to do. No, I
know a little bit about soccer now, thanks to Ted Lasso.
Oh, nice. I don't watch fiction. You know that, Clint.
It's a good show, Jimmy. It's funny.
I've heard that, but I don't know. Because I tell you what I'll do after this to give you guys an idea. And I have the Monday nighter tomorrow. Monday night football here on Pop Sports Radio, which I think the game will be more exciting than this one. But I will put music on and cap and set things up, set up worksheets and shit like that.
Give me a pick 6.
You gonna get that pick 6?
I don't know, man. It's not looking like it, but the backup quarterback is in. They're stretching the field. Like, come on. If there's gonna be a pick 6, now's the time.
Look Look at McCarthy, you son of a bitch. You didn't deserve this job. Fucking meddling owners, man. I would. You know, I'm a Canucks fan, so I don't really feel sad for anybody. But Cowboys fans, oh yeah, McCarthy, you fucking dumpster fire. Look at those earlobes, man.
Speaking of the Canucks, how excited are we for hockey, Jimmy?
You know, it's so funny how, like, for the Canucks as a hockey team, like, how close I feel like they are.
Jacksonville's won the last 4 meetings in Jacksonville.
Get him. Strip the ball. Damn it.
I think that
outright.
I think that the Canucks are going to be really good next year. Really, really good. Andrei Kuzmenko. Sorry, it's the booze talking. Andrei Kuzmenko and Mikheyev coming in are going to change things in Vancouver. I'm really excited. Rod Zawacki in the house. Nice to have you. God, Rod, your fucking 10-star CFL plays. I fail to remember one that you've missed on our show, man. You know, and he comes in like really confident in things. That's what's keeping me off of betting the under 41.5 right now, is just that I'd rather just cap with you guys than trust myself in Jets Browns. But Rod Zawacki, he was so bullish on the Alouettes against the Lions. How easy was that for you, Rod? You're a beast, man. Richie Rich in the house. We talk about hockey. Richie Rich shows up. Pistol Pete, you remember Richie Rich from our hockey days? Yeah, he's a spectacular NHL capper. And Rod Zawacki's 10-star plays. Yeah.
No pick six, boys. No glory tonight for the defense.
No, this was
Dallas looks like shit.
You guys were great to keep interest in this stream because it did help that we were winning and we all won. And we were ahead from the first second. The live totals now, 30 points under what we got it at?
Crazy.
Pete got the under 53. Live totals at 22.5, Pete.
Yeah, you know.
Tampa Bay second half, baby. Cash it.
Yeah, you guys, great call. Marlon too, Marlon Z, you guys believing it. Yeah, I was hesitant. But goddamn, do we ever want Brady to be ahead in football games? Maybe not in the playoffs because there's more pressure on him to succeed. Cheshire Cat says the Flames picked up some serious acquisitions. You know, the best player that the Calgary Flames had was Matthew Tkachuk. I don't care that they don't have Goodrow. It's good that they got Huberdeau back and Kadri, but they're overpaying them to live in Canada, to live in Calgary. And Calgary's not a bad place to live, but they're overpaying them and giving way too much term to allow that to happen. So I'm not afraid. I have no concern. The Flames are going to be a good hockey team, but I think that's all they'll be. Rod Zwacky says Brady now 7-0 versus the Cowboys. That's right. 7-0 versus the Cowboys. I know this wasn't your most exciting stream, but it was all cash fucking winners here around the horn. And I want to thank you guys for rolling with us. And we have a big Monday night stream. Broncos, Seahawks. Russ Wilson goes home. Ciara will be there. And it's I just think it's a dead nuts under. I got to think it's a dead nuts under. I would love, if you guys don't mind, could we go around the horn and could you give us an idea of what your thoughts are on the Monday Nighter? And I would like to make this consistent. At the end of every Sunday night stream, I would like the guests to tell us what their thoughts are on the Monday Nighter because I'll be live every Sunday and Monday night all year long. So let's go around the horn right now. Big Ragu, Broncos, Seahawks. Let me give you a quick setup here. Do I have the line history? Let me just grab the line history very quickly here, as I think it's important, prudent. Let me just pull this up here. Here we go. The NFL. Monday night, we will be right here on Pub Sports Radio for Denver, Seattle. This opened up with Denver -4.5. They're now -6.5. The 6 to 6.5 happened 5 days ago. So it happened on fucking Tuesday morning. It moved to 6.5. From a total perspective, it opened up at 41.5 and it climbed to 44.5. How? How the fuck could it have climbed to 44.5? That's just nuts to me. Not only that, the over 44.5 is minus 108. That means that I'm on the wrong side. I mean, why would Pinnacle be juicing the over and letting you bet the under with no VIG? The cash flow on the Monday nighter here, 109,000 tickets in. 20% of the tickets, 46% of the cash on the Seahawks. 75% of the tickets and 60% of the cash on the over. This is fucking confounds me. Take it away, Ragu. The Monday nighter Broncos Seahawks. What are your thoughts?
I like the under personally, but if you're going to get involved, if the sharps or however the fuck the number got to 6.5 and the totals juice to the over, whatever, who's going to put the game over? It's not going to be Seattle. It's going to be Denver. So if you're interested in over, I would look towards it. If it's not too juiced and it's not, you back the numbers down and you do your work on it, you check into the Denver team total over, because I don't think Seattle's going to score a ton of points in this game. I think they keep it close, but, I think it's well within a touchdown in my book. But the 44, I'm in on that. I'll take the under. Primetime games always seem to go that way anyways. Sunday, Monday nighters. And usually Monday nighters lean towards the favorites anyway. So it's a public game. It's an isolated game. Probably money's going to come that way anyway. So if you're going to be interested in the dog, I'd wait. If you like the under, maybe you can wait a little bit longer for that too.
Yeah, I think that's a very succinct and put perfectly. If you like the over, you must like the Broncos to destroy. So if you like the over, you should bet the Broncos on the alternate line. Get some cash.
Yeah, that's true too. That's a good. Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. Get a better number on the spread. Instead of laying 6.5, maybe lay like 9.5, 10, something like that.
Yeah, 9.5. I would think it would be.
Yeah, 9.5 should be good if you like the Broncos.
Pete, what do you think of the Monday nighter? And well, actually, let me also before I'll go around the horn and thank you guys. But thank you guys so much for rolling with me. And it was my first show, and I got to handpick the guys I wanted to run with, and then honored that you guys would share the screen with me. Pete, what do you think of this Monday nighter Broncos Seahawks?
Yeah, it was a great show. I had a great time. I like I say, don't bite off more than you can chew. So for this NFL week, I was like, I'm going to do my deep because of the contest and everything. I did 100% research on all the Sunday games. This one I haven't done my deep research into, which I probably will at some point today or tomorrow. I can kind of understand though why people would think that a low total would get bet up because you got Geno Smith, but you got a nice receiving core for Seattle. So people might see that and think they'll be able to do something, and maybe Wilson will want to put on a show, and it was a low total. So I guess the total getting bet up makes some sense. It's obviously a very unique and kind of odd situation as far as obviously the teams are concerned and the circumstances. So I haven't done my in-depth statistical analysis of this game yet. If you guys are liking the under that much, my thought is that that's probably the way that I'm definitely leaning right now. I definitely haven't bet it yet, and that's about all I have to say about this one. I haven't done my my normal in-depth statistical research for this matchup yet, or for these teams either.
Well, love having you, just hearing your insights every Tuesday morning here at Pub Sports Radio, the Peter Loshak show here on Pub Sports Radio, and I don't get to work with him for a few months, and it pains me to say that, but I've got just too much on my plate. I'll be back in action with Pete come 2023, and I can't wait to. But every Tuesday you get the Peter Loshak show, and you get to watch the magic that we all watched and that really inspired our whole community.
What do they have plans for you for NHL though?
There's not going to be an individual NHL show on the channel.
Okay.
So I'm going to cap NH. So you know what? I guess. Are
you going to do a preview at least? Season preview?
I don't know if I'll do a preview, but I would be. My wife might fight against this, but I would have some interest in coming on to your Tuesday shows only to do NHL.
Right.
If we
I mean, that'd be great. I just want to do, because last year it was a lot of fun to do the entire NHL season preview with you, and I got a lot of you were the ones who said, I was going into that season, I was like, man, I'm going to fade Dallas every game. You were like, no, we're going to be looking to bet on Dallas. I was like, what? You turned out to be dead on with that one, and so I'm just looking forward to doing a season preview. But I guess that's a ways off, but.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would enjoy season preview to do one with you and Gokster, but the views would be so minimal. I don't know if it would be.
Yeah.
No one at the company would be like begging us to do an NHL season preview. But
are you going to ignore NHL until you have to do videos about it?
I study NHL every day. I do. I swear to God, right. I study NHL every single day. There's not one day that goes on where I don't go on to NHL.com and don't go on to like ESPN's NHL thing. And there's not one day that goes on where I don't look at that. No matter what's going on in my life, no matter how hungover, no matter what, it's just like part of my routine. I study NHL every single day.
You're like a jazz musician who's like a genius at saxophone for 30 years and still practices 3 hours a day.
Oh, you know what? My ROI has gone down. My ROI has gone down and down, Pete. I'm not. This past year, my playoffs got me out of the gutter. I'm not. My best year of the 5 years we've been capping together was my first year with you in NHL when we got up to really beautiful heights. So I'm
That's
not
the year that got me into NHL, Jimmy. What a glorious year that was.
Wasn't it so great? But Clint, you've been masterful. I love how you cap NHL. You cap it so differently from me, and I think I love here. And what's going to happen with Phoenix this year, I find riveting with the 5,000 seat arena. I mean, it's just so wild. It's so
I can't
wild.
wait to go to a live game with my 50 best friends and cheer for our team, Jimmy.
No doubt. No doubt. We're going to put a bow on this stream, and I'd love that you guys have been hanging with us. Clint, what are your thoughts here for tomorrow night's Broncos Seahawks that I will be live for?
I'm very public, Jimmy. Let Russ cook. I feel like this is his chance to show off a little bit, but absolutely nothing today has gone the way anybody really expected it to. This has been a wild first week of football. So, does that trend continue and maybe we end up in a low-scoring battle or a back-and-forth tight game that no one really sees coming? Personally, I'd kind of ride on the side of passing props. Russell Wilson, longest completion over 36.5 doesn't sound like a bad deal to me. Try to ball out on his old team a little bit. But I think I'd be laying it with the Broncos. I expect them to get the work done.
I have too much respect for the Sharps, and it's that respect for the Sharps that's got me this superlative record that's now 23-4. I got to update. I can't wait to update. I'll do that on my own time. And try not to jerk off while I do it. 23-4 in this bitch. Thank you guys.
You sound like one of those like bold lies, just like flat out fucking lying about your records from Metallica.
Doesn't it? It's I'm gonna put out like a tweet tomorrow that shows my overall record, my preseason record, my week one record, and while I write it, I'll be thinking that same thing.
And then I can't like vouch for you because then they're gonna be like, oh, now Loshek's lying.
Yeah.
Every time Jimmy talks about his record, his stellar record, that's this glorious record, I'm gonna be like, I felt nothing. I felt nothing.
Nothing happening down here. Thank you guys so much. First off, I would like to thank the cappers on the stream with me, Ragu and Pete and Clint. As I every Sunday night and Monday night I'll be here, and this was my first show. I got to pick exactly the cappers I wanted to hang with, and you guys were first on my list. I love you guys, so thank you so much for sharing the screen with me and hanging out with the great cappers in the chat. Cheshire Cat, Chris Brady, Preston Ekdahl says, how many ad reads tonight, guys? Not enough. But we did talk about some of the things we're very excited about, but not enough ad reads. I need to get my ad read game up. We have a big poker tournament coming up with Bet Online. that I'm really excited about, that we're so close to announcing. So we're going to have a monthly tournament with Bet Online, free roll for everybody, but at least $1,000 each tourney up for grabs. And there's a big tournament going on Bet Online between the 18th and the 3rd of October, the Co-ops tourney. But we have big things with Prize Picks and my bookie, and we will share the links here. And Preston, I apologize, I don't do a good enough job at that. The buy a beer link, thank you, AJ. We do all want to party together, not because we all cash on our giant Circa Millions ticket, because we may not cash. Although we'll be 4-1 if the Broncos cover tomorrow. We're 3-1 right now going into it. But buy me a beer, buy me a coffee. What we want to do is just get people to go to pubsportsradio.com more often. I know we focus on our YouTube page, but if you could go to pubsportsradio.com and look up the contests and all that stuff. And we're working on the contest. Will show everybody's picks and all that stuff as we move forward. And I hope I'm 3-2 in the Cappers contest. I feel hopeful. But thank you guys. Cheshire Cat, Lucky Power, AJ, RVD, 420, Danny Lopez, J Dub, Caleb Morrison, Harold Williams, Chris Brady, Drinking Hand, Alex Gagnon, Jared TG, Sky Dragon. I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us here. This is it. We'll be back on Monday, but I'd like to give a quick outro for the great Cappers joining me. Big Ragu, any last words, my man?
Hey, I feel honored to be here with you, especially honored with my guy Pete, and it's always a pleasure to see my main man, MMA expert Clint. We had some fun when we did that contest, man. It was some fun time. But anyways, I appreciate you having me on, and anytime you want me, just give me a shout, brother.
Oh, I love that, and you know I will. Pistol Pete, Loshak, Lodos Loshak, the Peter Loshak Show every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pete, any last words, my man?
No, my just last words are like Big Ragu. Please do your college football previews for this week, okay?
I sure will, buddy. Wednesday and Saturdays, you'll see me. I'll be on screen throwing the juice at you.
Those are the last words, my final request for the show.
I love it. And then, Clint, can you send us off into the future, my friend? And thank you for joining us. Any last words before we put a bow on this? And, Clint, when you're done talking, I'm going to cut the stream. The floor is yours.
Thank you all so much. Jimmy, thank you for the invitation to come on and hang out with the boys. Pete, we don't share the camera enough, my guy. It was a pleasure to spend the evening with you. Ragu, like you said, it was a good time doing that show, but it's always fun to hang out here on Pub Sports Radio. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, watching the show. We made bank tonight. It's just the first one of the season, baby. Bring it on back. We're going to be going live here constantly on Pub Sports Radio, finding ways to make you cash on every single sport that we run. And we be pubbing, baby. That's all I got for you, Jimmy. We'll see you guys next time.
We be pubbing.